Okay, Monday, June the 15th, 2020. It is now 5:38. The Safety Committee meeting is officially called to order by Zoom. Roll call, please.
Chairman Linda Childs Jeter.
Present.
Co-Chair Vice Mayor Jeannie Stinson.
Present.
And Councilwoman Phyllis Baber.
Present.
Okay. You have a quorum.
Vice Mayor, would you please do the prayer for today?
Yes, ma'am. Father God, we'd like to ask that you watch over this meeting today, Lord. Watch over this meeting today, Lord, because we're talking about the safety of beautiful, wonderful people. And we'd like to make sure that we keep them safe and that we stay safe ourselves, Lord. We also like to thank you for the safety that you have provided us. We'd like to ask these things in your son, Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Okay, the minutes were sent to you, and I'd like to have acceptance of the minutes with correction. You should have read them by now. If there are any corrections, you can send them in to the clerk or myself. So, need a motion?
Motion to accept the minutes with any needed corrections.
I second it.
It's been moved in second. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Being no questions, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion passed. Is there any old business? Is there any old business?
I guess I would say yes.
Okay. What is the old business?
Has anybody looked into the speed bumps? Do we know how much those are going to cost, or if we can put up signs, or we're going to use the police sign over here on Dixie or around the village? Have we come up with anything for that? It's getting worse.
If I'm not mistaken, yes, Amos, Chief Amos, I'm sorry. I was going to say, I think Law was going to work with that too. But Chief Amos.
Yes, so Captain Brown, since he's been around for a while and he had some suggestions too, he just went out on his bag. So, and I didn't get a chance to get that from him because he's all drugged up. So I just need to get those because he has some different places that we didn't even think about just being around for 20 plus years of some other places that might do good, even if they're temporary, get people to slow down. So I'll get that to you, Ms. Child.
Okay, so you're gonna send the information to me, and you must also give it to the manager or acting manager, and then we can forward out to the rest of the people so they will know what you're looking to do. Okay, anything else other than speed bumps? Okay, we have new business, a monthly fire report.
So I'll get started on that. If I'm not sure if everyone has that in front of them or not, but just here briefly, if we go to page 2 on the May 2020 fire responses, we're down a little bit from Lincoln Heights. In April, we were at 11, and now we're at 7. No structure fires, anything major like that. And again, we're still kind of going down just because of the COVID stuff. Everybody's still kind of scared to come out. So we're kind of seeing that anyways. So if we go over to our EMS details on page 3.
Amos, you're moving away from your mic.
I'm going too far. So if we go to our page 3 there, for our EMS details, we're at 56 for May. In April, we were at 49. So you can see the runs are gradually coming back up. And as we look to the total, I think we were down like 46%. But now we're shooting back up, and I think June is going to be probably even worse because we're probably averaging 8 to 10 runs, which we were usually averaging 6 to 7. So now that everyone has not went to the doctor, it's catching up to everybody now. So, and also if I shared that with Ms. Childs and I think the manager for the COVID responses, Lincoln Heights' numbers did double here within the last 2 days. Positive COVID cases. So again, I would just say especially for the older ones and older family members. Just still be careful with that. I think it's kind of lax with everything opening back up. But Lincoln Heights' numbers just doubled. You kind of stayed the same for probably 1 or 2 months, but they literally just doubled here.
So they're at 34?
34 total for Woodlawn and Lincoln Heights, but I think the Lincoln Heights numbers are at the bottom of that spreadsheet, I believe.
It has a total there. 31.
10.
Let me go.
It's
Yeah,
10.
it looks like 10. We had 5 before, so that would double.
Yep. And we just picked up probably another 5 within the last 2 to 3 days for June that are probably positive as well.
Are they staying at the hospital? They come back home and quarantine at home?
Some are staying at the hospital. They send us the addresses when they're sending them back home to quarantine.
Okay. So do you know how many has returned home?
This number on that spreadsheet, those are the ones that have returned home.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, Chief, does that mean that it could be more cases they're just not reported, or maybe they just stayed home and, got through it and didn't have to call the...
Yeah, and hate to say... Go ahead. I'm sorry, Vice Mayor.
I have a quick... So if you suspect that you have it and you don't get tested, but you stay in and you stay quarantined, do you have to tell your doctor and they have to report it? How do they report it? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, because usually if you have the symptoms, you'll call your doctor and they'll say, well, just stay quarantined for 14 days. After those 14 days, if it doesn't go away, then they're going to either urgent care or they're going to their doctor and then being tested. Usually after that 14 days, your immune system fights it, it goes away, and you just move on. And that's the other number we don't have, too, because I think a lot of us at the fire department had it as well. But this number is coming from when they quarantined for 14 days, still didn't go away. They're going to the doctor, getting tested. So these are actual positive cases here. And they're coming through the roof right now. We just went to urgent care 5 times a day for trouble breathing, sick person. So
in the village?
Just urgent care over there in Kroger's. Yeah, so the number is going up, especially here within the last day or so. Well, last week, I should say. The number is definitely going up.
Okay, so Chief, I want to make an announcement, and it may happen. There may be a testing site coming up soon here where that you can drive through and get tested for that.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I've seen that on Facebook.
That would be amazing.
It's already on Facebook?
I think it was Facebook. I thought it was an email that I received, but it has the dates and the location. I'm not saying it either because I don't have confirmation.
Okay.
Well, I sort of have confirmation, but it will be at the health center.
Okay. That would be great.
Yeah, and I do have the date. So if I get up, I can actually go get them and give them to you. So that will probably happen. And I have to say probably.
Okay. That would be great though, because again, with our community and our demographics, it would be good to know before.
So Chief, you might want to check with the CEO, Ms. Lindsay. Mm-hmm. I can text you some information, and that way you can get that information out to the fire department and anyone else, so that they can be tested and make sure that we are taking care of all our wonderful, beautiful citizens. I think that's what the Vice Mayor said. Yes, Vice Mayor.
So my thing is, do you go because you feel like you have symptoms, or you just get tested? Because I'm thinking, if I want to go and get tested, when I get tested and they come back and tell me negative, do that mean I don't want people to get relaxed just because they got a negative finding? You understand what I'm saying? Right, and then go off somewhere and
start doing stuff.
Exactly. So maybe if we had somebody that could share some more information, we would be able to. I don't want everybody lined up down there doing a drive-through.
Vice Mayor, that process is coming through.
Oh, okay.
The health center. I can't give you any more information other than it's a possibility that they will have that site open down there on the weekend. So if you saw it on Facebook, it's already out there. You know, so I can't give any more details other than it's a drive-through testing site. That's all I can give in the end. I think they chose the weekend to do it. And I have to get the information. I did get a text. So when we are talking about the things, I'll actually get up and go do that. I'll do that now. You can finish your report.
Yes, and usually for the testing too as well, in the past, you had to have a doctor's note to get tested until they had enough tests. But I think that has gone away. But again, for that testing site, they'll specify if anybody can come or you'll need something specifically from your doctor to get tested. So moving on here, just looking at our total runs on page 4, you can see where we dropped dramatically there for April. And again, now it's only 8% from our last year. If you look at May and June, it's going to be right back or even higher than what we were. That's kind of what everybody suspected. Everybody got scared, stayed in, then everybody got sick, and now it's going back up through the roof. So that's kind of what we suspected. The next couple pages are just our graphs on where we transported to, time of week or time of day, our responses. And I think there was one more thing I wanted to bring your attention to. And again, I didn't bring this up before, but just the last page, page 13, just the reported suicide versus deaths between police and fire. Because I think a lot of people don't know line of duty deaths that police and fire actually have when you see the big parades, the whole 9. But if you look at that graph where suicides are outweighing the line of duty deaths by far. So if you get to see the police or fire guys, just give them a pat on the back maybe, or let them know what's going on. And we're trying to do things in our department. I'm not sure what the sheriff is doing as well, of just having something for these folks to reach out to, because it's almost doubling the line of duty. It's our death rate on suicide is through the roof right now. So just a brief thing I just wanted to think. And that was the COVID piece, and that was the other thing I was going to bring up at the end on just like night numbers. That's all I have.
All right, I have a question.
Okay, to the mayor, if you will open up that text I just sent you and read it to everybody, please. While she's looking for that, Vice Mayor, yes.
What can we do on our end, Amos, as far as like when you mentioned the suicide over line of duty for a reason, and that touched me. So what can we do? What can we do as a community? Do you all know, I mean, is it a job related suicide or just the COVID thing, or is it, how can we help?
It's the stress. It's the stress of seeing things that you shouldn't see on a normal basis. That's what it's coming back to. And they just started tracking these numbers a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. They would just look at the line of duty death, either an officer getting shot or someone dying in a fire, whatever the case may be. But they never looked at the suicide part of it. And it's way higher than that. So I would just, even if you see them, pat on the back, whatever, because a lot of majority of these police and fire guys are there for the right reason. They're just, then they're dealing with all the other political stuff coming on them and all that. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Definitely on the police side. I don't know how they do it. So, but if you just see them, just give them a, hey, we thinking about you. Because then if you think about it too, and I'm not trying to get into all this other political stuff, I try to stay clear of that. But you think about it, all this tension that's coming down just on police in general, and sometimes the fire get pulled into that. But then they have to still turn around. They call the police or fire, and they want them there still in 30 seconds. Then on the other end, you get all this flack from out there in the public. So it's very stressful. It's very stressful just thinking of listening to some of the fire guys that are in some of these bigger cities, and they're busting out their fire truck windows, the whole 9 and everything. So it's just a stressful situation of even just saying, hey, we appreciate y'all. Because in our area, we have great officers in our area. Sharonville, Forest Park, Springdale, the sheriffs. I mean, we have great officers in our area. So again, just my little 2 cents. But.
Okay, anything else, Amos?
That's all I have.
Okay.
So
Any
I have
more
the
questions? Any more questions about Amos' report?
Can I have it emailed to me?
Okay, go ahead on, Mayor. Read that for me, please.
I was about to read it. You didn't want me to read it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was waiting for him to finish talking. You told me to read it after you got done. All right. The Healthcare Connection is partnering with TriHealth to provide drive-up COVID-19 testing for people over the age of 18 on Sunday from June 21st to August 16th. The time is 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. at 1401 Stephen Avenue. Walk-ups are also accepted. No charge if uninsured. Call 513-488-3623 for more information or to make an appointment. And that's for the Healthcare Connection, partnering with TriHealth for the drive up COVID testing.
So I believe we can put this on a robocall to go out through the public, say it more than one time, and also send it to our council members. And that is the reason why I text both you and the vice mayor and Amos. Okay.
Can we share this on our social media, vice mayor? I mean, Miss Linda Childs Streeter, I'm sorry.
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
I'm giving you a yes, you can. Okay.
I'll do the robocall.
Okay.
That sounds good.
You can do the robocall.
I'll go ahead and I'll put it on the website also.
Okay. All right. Let's set this up for tomorrow so I can tell Mrs. Lindsay what we're doing.
Okay.
Okay, but your board chair is coming up next at finance for the Healthcare Connection, so she'll be okay with it. All right. Anything else? Good information.
That's all.
Let's move on along to the Amos. Please stick around because we have the fire contract coming up and want you to be present. Okay.
No problem.
Thank you. Monthly police report.
How are you, ma'am?
I'm good.
Good to see you, but rather see you in person, but I guess we got to do this way now.
No, it's good to be seen at any time. Folks are leaving here. So if you
yes, ma'am, it is. I believe Lieutenant Boeing got his report out prior to him leaving on vacation, but in May, the officers responded to 245 calls for service, which was an increase of 4 from the previous month. Their self-generated activity, they had 118 self-generated or non-billable details, which increased over 13 from the previous month. During this time, we had 5 cases assigned to our detectives for investigation. 2 of those cases were subsequently closed. There were a total of 20 criminal reports taken in the month of May. There was 1 theft, a breaking and entering. We had 2 domestic violence calls, domestic dispute. There was a drug possession arrest, weapons under disability, 1 assault, 1 obstruction of official business and drug possession. There was an aggravated robbery, 2 drug trafficking arrests, a violation of a protection order, 2 drug abuse instrument arrests, 2 criminal trespassings, incidents at the school where there were 4 individuals arrested or cited, 3 criminal damagings. There were 4 auto accidents reported in the village during that time frame. Initiated 20 traffic stops or warnings, citations issued. There was 1 DUI arrest during the month. Compared to last year to this year, our numbers like the fire department are down due to COVID. Last year at this time, we had just shy of 3,000 calls for service. Right now, we're sitting at 2,700, which good or bad, depending on how you look at it. Let's see the other.
Captain Butler.
Yes, ma'am.
Are any of those listed by address on Adams and Leggett?
Let me see what case reports went down. There's 90. Liggett and Prairie, Wayne, on Chicago. He doesn't have Adams, anything listed on Adams, ma'am, in his report. I mean, I can look into it if there's something specific you're looking for.
Well, there was some type of activity, gun activity on Leggett, and they were looking for who actually did it, but I don't know the results of the.
Can look into that, ma'am.
I did go out and talk to the police, and they had blocked off the street and were looking for whoever was doing the shooting in front of, I think it's 1032. I'm 1033 Adams. That would be 1032, right on the corner across the street from my house facing Leggett.
You remember a day, ma'am, or roughly?
No.
No. Okay. Let me look into that. If we had that, it shouldn't be too hard to locate.
Yeah, it's been about a week ago.
About a week. Okay.
A little over a week ago, yes.
Okay. One thing we did at my direction, June 1st, we went back. I canceled our phase 1 of our COVID plan. Our officers are back to normal activity, so they're going to respond to houses. For the minor calls that we were taking over the phone during this, we had limited our interaction with the public. So now we're back to normal, where the officers are going to respond to every call for service instead of taking them by telephone for certain ones. So we'll see more of that, where the officers are back more visible in the community and back to their normal activities.
I did see them in person last Monday, because I called them to this house. So, and they responded.
Yeah, I mean, they would respond to that at any time. It's more like if you had a criminal damaging where someone, broke your mailbox or, something of that nature. They weren't responding for what we consider minor crime, part 3 types. They were just trying to limit our interaction at that time.
Well, actually, it was something of that sort that they did respond to. So they did a good job.
Good to know they're listening to me from across the way.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank Chief Johnson for his comment about the suicide. Speaking that in our line of work, in our profession with the fire service, 2017, I lost 2 of my officers before I made captain to suicide. So it is trending. It does happen. We don't know why. Sometimes it's personal stressors. Other times it is the job, what we see and what we do. So I appreciate the chiefs speaking out about that. It's kind of near and dear to our heart, because, I had 2 of them work for me over in Silverton at the time. So I appreciate that. And I guess I'm a little new to the game. We're talking about speed bumps in the village in the beginning, ma'am.
Yes. Talking about the traffic that goes back and forth and speeding through the neighborhood, the safety issue for anyone, not just kids, but anyone. Kids are going to run out there in the street. So what we want to do is slow that down, stop it. So we've talked about this for the last 2 or so years. So this is not new, but we want to see what can be done.
I can say I agree. We have to do whatever we can to slow down traffic and make it a safe community for the children and residents. Speed humps, I have a lot of experience with them for my years in traffic and running districts. We have put them in communities, and within a year we take them out because they're damaging the plow trucks, fire trucks, can't get in and over them because they have to slow way down and roll over them. Police cars, we have a tendency, they damage us. And we found a lot of kids and people who speed through the community use them as ramps over the time. And it actually intensifies the problem instead of slows it down, because they learn how to. Go ahead, man.
We talked about that some time ago, especially for the school buses that run and go up over the bump, and the kids go up in the air, whatever. I think we took a different direction with that at that time, but it's been brought back up so that we can provide some measure of safety out here. So what do you suggest other than the speed bumps?
Well, some of it is awareness, where we can bring out our speed trailer more often to help warn the pedestrian or motoring public, more activity from the officers, and not just writing citations, but giving warnings. Because sometimes you're going to find out most of your people speeding through there are your residents that live in the village. They're comfortable, they drive through, and it's always not me issue. It's somebody else speeding. When they complain about it, my 10 years in our traffic unit, 99% of our complaints, the person that was complaining about it or their neighborhood, they were always the offenders. It wasn't somebody coming through. So we'll find it when you get involved in it. Oh, it wasn't me, I meant it was somebody else. We just found it, like I said, that a lot of the plow trucks, the fire trucks, Metro, the school buses, it actually damages those vehicles more, and it slows down the response of the fire department to get there, because they're big trucks. They got a slow roll over those things. They can't respond to a scene, and it tends to bottom out the life squads because they sit solo anyway because they've got a lot of gear on them. So I would be more proactive or more recommending a more visible approach where we could detail some of our traffic officers over there. In the summer months, we can put a guy on a motorcycle. They're less visible, but they can be out there doing radar and laser enforcement where they can stop and give warnings. Yes, ma'am.
They can also join the motorcycles that race down Adams Street.
I understand. I know it's not a fix-all, but
he can get right in the middle of that, because they do go down and they don't stop at the stop sign. They keep straight on through, and there's a group of them.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I think you can put him out to put that person out here.
And we can do that. The months are getting warmer, where we can get our cars out there and get our traffic people out there to handle some of these complaints. I would just hate to watch the village invest all this money into these speed humps, and 6-8 months later, you're saying, why do we do this? And you're taking them out. Now you've doubled your costs for something we could have tried to fix another manner. I know in Anderson Township years ago, we put in those rumble strips you feel along the highway, the double yellow line in the neighborhood that was complaining of speed. It was a through road. And within 4 weeks, the residents were ready to go out there and fill them themselves because of the noise it generated. They didn't realize at 2 in the it doesn't shut off. It rumbles all night long. So just in my experience from traffic and running districts and dealing with this, I would sure hate to see the village invest that money and then have to take them back out 6 months, 8 months, a year from now.
Okay. Also, please talk to your officers about the noise that's back up and rolling around, and so loud that it shakes your house, it shakes your windows. So we need some control on that throughout the neighborhood. Vice Mayor.
Yes, this is the first I've heard that they could provide the motorcycles and all of that, those type of things. That sounds so good to me. That sounded like a hot fudge sundae to my ears. How soon can we have that taken care of?
We can start. I'll talk with our traffic, my traffic lieutenant, and start seeing.
Can we get a horse? I'm sorry. I'm gonna mute myself.
Ma'am, I wish we had the horses still. We don't have them anymore.
Vice Mayor, we did have a motorcycle out here before. I think it was 2 of them.
Yes.
2 guys that did that. So it has happened before. So yes, that would be a nice to come back.
I'll work with Lieutenant Tar on
Madam Chair, I got a question.
Yes, Mayor.
Okay, so Captain Butler, with the expense that you're saying, have you seen where they have the mobile cons that they can pull up anytime? Is it something that, have you seen them have the kinds you can pull up? They're just there temporary?
There are barriers, but they are quite expensive to.
Expensive.
Yes, ma'am, to put those down and put them up, and then you have to have somebody to go pick them up and maintain them and then replace them somewhere else. And I don't know about the prep work that goes into the roadway for those. I'd have to research that, but I would hate that, the chief's fire truck's coming down there and it's a day we've moved them and their guys aren't aware of it. And 2 o'clock in the morning, they're going to help somebody on a heart attack or a fire run. Not to pick on you, Chief, but your trucks are a little heavier than my cars.
You were absolutely right. I didn't think about that. And I've never been in a community that had speed bumps, so I cannot speak on that. Yeah, that would be. Yeah.
It's bad for your trucks the way they are. I mean, years ago, we did this with Miami Township over on the west side of the county. Residents wanted speed humps, and when we did our studies and showed, what it does for the plow trucks and fire trucks and school buses and things like that, it was more detrimental than trying to fix it in other methods. And I think we can have some effect once we start with the speed trailer and getting some of our traffic guys over there.
Okay.
We start enforcing it and they see this,
Hmm.
they're going to start enforcing this now. And like I said, it's not every stop has to give a ticket. A warning suffices based on the officer's observations, but they can also do enforcement if necessary. And that way you're not incurring the cost of thousands of dollars to either buy a temporary or put permanent ones in.
Madam Chair, I got one more question for him. So we've had like 2 accidents due to speeding, one in front of St. Monica's and one that's on Van Buren. That one actually was a head-on. Is it possible that Chief Amos could let you know the areas that they saw accidents in the village, and that way you'll be able to partner with him in order to know where to put the speed trailer at?
Oh, absolutely. And if he sees that it's an area that is heightened to him and his staff, we'll put it there. Or if a citizen calls or when the council asks, hey, can we put it on, Douglas, or we can put it on Van Buren, or wherever you want it.
What, Dixie, I'm sorry. The head-on was at Dixie.
Right. Okay. And sometimes some of those crashes deal with people not paying attention and texting, unfortunately, or other things that they're doing. But yeah, if there's an area in the village that we need to put the speed trailer, absolutely. They can call Lieutenant Boeing directly or Mike Schneider, our clerk. They can get a list and they'll get a hold of our traffic unit and they'll drag it out and set it up for, several days, a week, however long we need it, and they can move it around the village.
Would you suggest we also add additional signage as well for speed?
There's really not a whole lot we can do on speeding. I mean, everything in the village is 25.
Right. I'm just saying that we may have some areas within the village that we may need to put a sign may have gotten torn down, or we need to replace it and make them more visible out.
Yeah, I mean, if we have signs down, absolutely. I can think the only other sign that we might be able to put up is something along the line, speed enforcement area, targeted speed enforcement area, like you see on the highway sometimes, or some other communities. If the maintenance department can make one of those up, it's just like a warning sign that this is a targeted area.
Can I make a suggestion?
Ms. Baber, hold on for 1 minute, please. Yes, we'll come back to you. All right. Were you finished?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Baber.
Oh, I was just going to suggest, like, as I ride through these different communities, I see the different residents might have like a little poster in their yard that say 25 miles, please slow down. So maybe we can get some of those signs and just like stick them in different residents' yards if it's okay with them, to help them to see and slow down. My question was, because I didn't know we had the motorcycle sheriffs. So I was wondering, because we're having that parade on Saturday, if we could get a motorcycle sheriff out to ride with us, because I don't think we really need to block off the street because it's not that busy, but to keep us going through the stop signs and going across the lane. You know, how they ride up in front of you and have you to, continue on. Is that possible?
Yes, ma'am. I can check and see if one of them's available to come in. Excuse my ignorance. Which parade is this? I got like 10,000 things.
Oh, we having a seniors parade for the seniors, the graduating seniors. It's this Saturday, and it starts at 10:30, and we're going to start up on Adams, right there next to the school.
Okay. All righty. I will talk with my lieutenant in traffic and see if any of his guys are available. If not, we'll definitely get you a car detailed to it to run interference, so to say, with traffic, so we can proceed through the intersection safely.
Madam
Chair. Yes, thank you.
Yes, Mayor.
I got one more question. So usually, Captain Butler, when we would normally have the Lincoln Heights Day Parade, which this is different, we usually would send you all a map where you would know, the direction of the parade. Would that help if we could get that to you?
Oh, absolutely. If you could send it to, either email it or give it to Mike Schneider, and I can come over and grab a copy of it, and that way we know the route. And
Okay.
I'll know in the morning if I can get a motorcycle assigned or if it's going to be a traffic car. That way we don't take away from the cars assigned to the village for village business.
Okay. All right. We'll get that to you. Give me another day to get that by Wednesday. It's basically a map that, and I'll get with Miss Faber and find out what direction, and we'll get that marked and over to you.
Okay.
Well, we don't necessarily have to do a map. I could do the left and the right of the different streets of the way we're going.
Right, but when it comes to the sheriff office, they need that so they'll know it.
Miss Bateman, right, Miss Bateman, and to the mayor, Captain Butler, you need a direct contact person. So can we push that to the manager? She can work it out with the rest of you all.
Absolutely.
Okay,
that's fine.
Yeah, and that way it will get where it's supposed to go. All right. Thank you, Captain Butler, for agreeing to do that. It's going to be a wonderful day.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And thank you, Ms. Baby. Mm-hmm. Anything else? Anything else, Captain Butler?
I am good. I think the chief has his hands up for a question, ma'am.
I'm ignoring the chief. Hi, Chief Amos. Yes. What do you need?
Yes, ma'am. So did anybody contact Captain Brown for that parade? That's the first time I heard about that, too. For the fire, has anybody contacted anybody for the fire department, or do I just need to let them know to be there at 10:30?
I'm sure somebody has contacted you at this late hour.
It's not a parade like normal. It's just a parade for the graduating seniors. It's not a big. No, it's not like that.
Okay. If you want us to be there, we can be there. If not, that's fine too.
Okay. Well, you can come if you want. That we can use the noise.
Okay, we'll be there.
So they know we coming.
Absolutely, I'll pass it on. I'll definitely.
Okay, so 10:30 and we starting at the elementary.
Chief Amos.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm also going to give you to Ms. Pope, and you all can coordinate that and give it to the proper people. She will know where it goes. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Okay, we're moving right along to the fire levy. Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Pope, you had your hand up to say something, and you can say it and then go into your fire levy.
Okay, what I was gonna say is to Ms. Baber and also Mr. Daniels, he's not on here, but we didn't get any like a form on filling out what you're going to do, what date you're going to do it, so I can call the police and the sheriff's department and have them lined up to assist you guys. So I was going to talk about that tonight on you filling out that form, just so we can have all our ducks in order,
Could you email me that form and I can fill it out
and
email it back to you?
Okay.
Please. And you did get my receipt, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're gonna work out the parade for Saturday. So yeah, on to the fire levy.
Okay, so our fire levy, we wanted to discuss the different levies and the appropriate committee meetings for our 2021 tax budget. I sent you guys a copy of that. And so on page 5 of that 2021 tax budget.
Ms. Pope, can you bring it up? Can anybody bring it up so everybody can see this at the same time? Even though we received it, some of us are using our devices and we can't get to that document. So can we pull up what you're talking about?
How do I do that, Ms. Denson?
The host would have to do it.
What would that
Who's
look?
the host?
A co-host. I think
you could do it, Maria.
I gotta be able to have it to share it. Donna, can you send it to me? That way I can share it. I have to go into my email.
Okay, send your email.
Okay.
What happened?
Nothing. We're talking about the
Hold on, I don't want everybody to see my email.
Yeah, why don't you take it off of share?
To be done in here?
Yeah, let me take it off of share real quick. Hold on.
And then find it, and then we'll then pull it up once you find it.
Okay, I'll be back.
Yeah, we can still see you. We don't see what you're doing though.
Good.
So you want me to wait? Miss Baber. Miss Baber.
Yeah.
Would you mute yourself? We hear all your background.
I'll mute her.
Okay.
Okay. All right, let me see.
You want me to continue or you want me to wait?
I'll go ahead and continue while I'm looking for it.
Okay, well, so when she pulls it up, it's going to be the fire fund special levy is going to be on page 5. So what we have to submit to the county for our tax budget is 2 years of actual, 1 year of estimate for the current year, and the estimate for the upcoming year, which would be 2021. The fire levy is quick and easy because the only thing that's coming out of the fire levy proceeds is the fire levy contract. So what budgeted for this year in the fire levy as payment to Woodlawn Fire Department is $264,600. And what we had as far as receiving in our property tax disbursement was $310,636. Because this year is, you know, so unpredictable, I just on the tax levy, I believe I added 5% because our proceeds were a little bit higher this year. The first proceeds was a little bit higher. So I added $300,600 for estimates for 2021 under the real property tax. Under our rollbacks, I added $24,468 for a total revenue estimate for 2021 of $325,068. There was some discussion. I know Mr. Dukes was having some discussion with Woodlawn Fire Department as far as the contract amount for next year for 2021. And since I don't know the complete conversation other than what I had with Fire Chief Amos, I just left the amount in there for $264,600. And we had discussed 5% increase, but then I know Mr. Dukes was discussing no increase because of it just depends on what we get in proceeds from our property taxes. So the fire levy is pretty simple. It's continuous. So we don't have to do we don't have to put it on the ballot for next year because it's continual. So we don't have to do anything for that. Any questions? So this information has to be emailed to Hamilton County by when? The resolution has to be passed by July 15th. And we have to submit it to the county by July 20th, but it has to be advertised for 10 days prior to the July 15th date because we have to have a public hearing. And so the advertisement should go out, what do I have it at? I think I have it as the 20, wait a minute, let me look at my schedule. We're bringing the full 2021 tax budget to council, our committee of the whole on the 22nd.
And so I have to submit this publication on the 24th. So it'll run the 29th through the 13th. And then on the 13th, we'll have the public hearing at 6:15, and it'll be a part of council on July 13th, 2020.
Okay, Mr. Deepak, did you have something you wanted to add to that?
No, I mean, I commend Ms. Pope. It sounds like she's on top of it, both with regard to the fact that it's a continuing levy, which was nice that we were able to get that passed so that we don't have to renew these things every 5 years. And, you know, the public hearing piece, the 10-day notice, very critical under Ohio law that we do all that. And again, Ms. Pope, you know, it sounds like she's way on top of it. So thank you, Ms. Pope. Just if there's anything I can do, let me know. Otherwise, I will have the legislation prepared for the July 13th meeting for council to consider and hopefully approve.
Okay, so do we need a recommendation from this committee to pass that on to council?
I don't think we need a recommendation. The tax budget is something that's required by law that we do every year. So okay. I think we're fine. I think Ms. Pope was, you know, giving us some good financial information to understand, you know, how the levy funds police operations, but I don't think we need any kind of a formal recommendation. Okay. I would, of course, defer to Ms. Pope if she felt otherwise.
No, because we're going to review this the whole complete budget on the 22nd, so we'll have it then, so we can go over everything. And the only levy that we will have to look at will be the infrastructure levy. So we will have to look at that for next year.
Ms. Pope, where are we at time-wise with the police levy? Do you happen to know offhand?
As far as it being continual?
Continual, or too. Do we need to be looking at a renewal anytime in the next year or two?
No, the police, levy, the police, the fire levy, those are all continual. And okay, we just did the general operating levy last year. Now I do have to check on the infrastructure levy because that's our newest levy. I believe it's continual, but I'm not certain. So I'll have to check with the auditor's office to see how they have that listed. Now, if that one is not continual, we'll have to put that on the ballot for 2021 because it expired in 2021. Okay. 2021.
Great. Okay. Mayor.
Yes.
You can stop looking. We okay.
No, I actually had it kept on. I had to keep refreshing, but okay.
We okay. We're gonna move on to the fire.
Is she gonna need it in finance? In finance, we will be discussing the general operating levy. So we'll go over that one in finance. And then I'll bring the final copy to you guys Monday for committee of the whole. Okay. And we would have gone over all of them except for the infrastructure. And we were supposed to do that in economic development last week or last month, but we didn't have a committee meeting. Okay. So Donna, we didn't have a quorum.
Does she need to have any of these documents ready for that for finance? I think that was the question she was asking.
You actually have them all. I just sent you a copy of all of the levies in this one packet. No, you wanted to share, that you was going to share. Oh, share it. Okay.
Yeah, she just want to bring it to a place where she can pull it up when it's time to talk about it. So that we'll have on hand for finance. Is that okay? Oh. Okay. Ms. Randolph?
Yes. Yes. Hello.
Thank you. I meant to acknowledge you a few minutes ago. I don't know if I did or not. Okay.
That's okay.
The fire contract. Back to the manager and Mr. Deepak.
Assistant.
Yeah, so thank you, Ms. Childs Jeter. I think I had sent this out just to put it on our radar. And let me just, if I can, maybe go through a brief history of the fire contract. Would it be possible to make me a host so I can share the document?
Keith?
Yeah, let me come out and he can take him as a host. He can get in there.
ICRC, yes. Can we make Mr. Deepak decide a host, please, so he can share some information with us?
Yep, no problem. Doing it now. Good to go.
Thank you. Okay, so this is the document called the Agreement for Fire Protection Services. I'm sorry, for Fire Protection and Emergency Medical Services to the Village of Lincoln Heights, Ohio. It is a rather long document. I will tell everybody, generally speaking, if you go all the way to the end of the document and get away from what the lawyers do, you can actually get to what it is that the Woodlawn Fire Department is doing. So this was a nice document, an Exhibit A attached to it that I believe Chief Johnson and some of his colleagues put together. But it basically, as it says in the top left, their service levels, provides for all of the things that we get in the contract with Woodlawn. It's very involved, as you can see. But I think if anybody is wondering what exactly we have contracted for, in many respects, Exhibit A is probably the best thing to read in this contract because it really goes through in detail everything that is done. The one thing that I would just point out to you about this is that, you know, these things are things that were put in place when this document first went into effect in February of 2018. So some of the things may have changed. Some of the things, you know, may have been modified a bit based on, you know, how things were unfolding on the ground. So let me bring that back up a little bit more. So if you have any questions, you know, I would direct them to Chief Johnson. The one thing here that I would just note is this piece on fire hydrant maintenance. And I just wanted to ask Chief Johnson, I mean, with the impact of COVID-19 and the disruption that it has caused in everything, I noticed that, you know, there's supposed to be an annual fire hydrant testing, and then, you know, if there are any hydrants that need to be replaced, that's supposed to take place at the cost of Lincoln Heights. Where are we at with that fire hydrant testing and maintenance? Is everything looking good? Have you had a chance to do that?
Yeah, everything's looking good. We go through twice a year for the hydrant maintenance, and we've actually completed our first round already. Everything that goes out of service in Lincoln Heights, since they have the contract with Cincinnati Waterworks, I believe, as soon as we put it in, it's out of service. They usually have it back in service within 2 days. Okay, so great. We're trying to do the same thing that Lincoln Heights is doing over in Woodlawn, because we probably have about 25 hydrants. Now, Lincoln Heights has 0 hydrants. So we're trying to do the same thing there. So all of the fall hydrants, as we call it, it's done. That's just the basic, making sure they work, they're pumped out. And then the winter hydrants come, we got to make sure there's no water in there so nothing freezes. So we usually start that around September. So all your hydrants have been done for this year, the first round.
Great, great. That's good to know. So again, Exhibit A is a wonderful document that Chief Johnson and his crew put together. And I would encourage everybody to read it. It really details the type of services they provide, which are detailed and comprehensive. So let me just kind of give you the big picture here. I'm going to jump back up to just probably a couple of the salient provisions of the contract. I'm going to just do it in chronological order because it's easier to do it that way. This is really not in order of any particular importance. But again, if you remember, we entered into this contract. It became effective on February 1st of 2018. It's a 3-year contract. It's scheduled to expire at the end of this year. Perhaps one of the biggest pieces of this when we were putting it together was, what do we do with the Lincoln Heights equipment? So you'll see here in section 2.1, what we basically did is we conveyed over to the Woodlawn Fire Department a number of our, pieces of equipment and vehicles. So the pumper, a couple ambulances, a couple staff cars. The one piece that was kind of interesting was this right here, the 2017 Ford Medics ambulance. That's something that Lincoln Heights had recently purchased through a lease financing arrangement. As you can see, there was about $115,000 owed. And basically what we did is, as of the contract date, we transferred that over to Lincoln Heights. I'm sorry, to Woodlawn, and they picked up the payments on that ambulance. The only other piece of it was this 2001 Braun ambulance, and there was a small amount of debt, relatively speaking, to how expensive this equipment can be, that we paid off and sent over to them. So outside of vehicles, we also transferred over to them, our portable radios, our turnout gear, fire hose, accessories, fire protection, and EMS equipment. With the idea that, what was going to be taking place here was that, we were going to, be relying upon Woodlawn for the foreseeable future for our fire needs. On that point, because I think it dovetails nicely into this, is, at the time, and I'm not sure where things stand. Again, COVID-19 has really certainly just derailed a lot of things. But if you look at section 7.1, what you'll find is that in 7.11, one of the goals here was that it is further agreed and understood that it is anticipated that in the future, Woodlawn and Lincoln Heights will explore with other communities, and that's key, other communities, the creation of a fire district, and to that end, the parties agree to use their best efforts to create such a fire district. I'm a firm believer in economies of scale and districts. At my prior firm, we put together the Indian Hill Madeira Joint Fire District, which has worked out splendidly for both of those communities. When you talk about small communities like Woodlawn, Laughlin, Lincoln Heights, it's really expensive, to have your own fire department, because you have to have just some basics, and as you can see from what we went through in section 2, this equipment is not inexpensive. And with the amount that it gets used, I mean, it has a certain amount of shelf life to it. So, something that I just bring this to everyone's attention that, I think when this contract was put together, one of the ideas, although it wasn't necessarily stated explicitly, was this may just be a stepping stone towards, a larger collaboration where you might have, and I'm just throwing out random municipalities here, you might have Laughlin, Woodlawn, Lincoln Heights, and other communities that would join forces to have a joint fire district where you could then really have more, because now you're taking the revenue from all of those communities and you're pumping it into one district. And that district then can buy equipment and provide additional services that it may not otherwise have been able to afforded it to. And I can tell you, in an Indian Hill and Madeira, it doesn't mean that you have to have a fire station just in one of the municipalities. You can have substations, satellites, even a full second station if it's merited. So just in terms of, I think we like to think progressively in Lincoln Heights and Woodlawn. And I think this document and that particular provision was part of that thought process, just to bring that back into the discussion that, at some point that's hopefully where we're going to be. And so that instead of, spending maybe $250,000 on a fire contract, you're spending something less than that, but you're actually getting better equipment, a higher level of service and coverage. And that would really be saying something, because we, of course, I think have gotten, everyone's enjoyed the interaction with Woodlawn. So just down to the nitty gritty, and Ms. Pope kind of hit on this in section 2.9. This contract started February 1st of 2018. The first year, it was prorated for 11 months, so it was 240. Next, the following year, it was 252. This year, it's 264.6, and you can see that it expires at midnight, basically, but 11:59 p.m. on December 31st. Lincoln Heights can renew this pretty simply. What Lincoln Heights would do is, if you jump down to section 4.2 here, basically Lincoln Heights has 2 renewal terms of 3 years. So we can renew it starting January 1st of 2021. It would run for another 3 years, so 21, 22, and 23. The way we do this is we provide written notice 90 days to Woodlawn. And the way we do that is we do that in the form of a certified ordinance passed by Lincoln Heights Council. So just kind of doing the math, you know, if we need to do it 90 days in advance, we'd want to, get it to them no later than the end of September, right? Because that would be October, November, December. That's roughly 90 days. So I wanted council to consider this because I know we're going to be going on recess in August. Usually when we come back in September, there's kind of a backload of things that we have to address. And so I thought it'd be a good idea to just kind of get the discussion going now, get in people's minds that, you know, at that probably that first meeting in September, I'll be introducing legislation unless I'm directed otherwise for renewal of the fire contract. And I thought today would be a good idea to talk with Chief Johnson about, you know, whatever people might have in terms of what they'd like to see more of, what they like to see less of, things of that nature. So Ms. Childs-Jeter, that's all I have unless anyone has any specific questions for me.
I did.
Mayor.
Okay. I had 2 things I wanted to mention regarding the contract. So as far as the term, so if we do renew for 3 years, then we're gonna look at crunching the numbers. I know it's gonna be different than what we have on the term.
No, the numbers stayed the same. So the renewal is
the compensation. Wouldn't that change?
No, the renewal is back. The renewal is going to be at the $264,600 amount.
Okay, and so if we did it, did it for 3, so okay, I got that. So the renewal will be at 264, and then you would have the dollar figure for the 2 years after that. Is that correct? Because it's going to change, wouldn't it?
No, let me share this again. Let's see, it's right here.
I have it on page 6. I'm just saying if we were going to renew for 2-3 years, then we would have to have those numbers implemented starting with 264 and then go up.
Well, there's no provision in here unless I missed it for an increase in the contract amount.
Okay. So that's what I'm not getting, because I'm saying if we renewed the contract, what are we renewing it to stay the same for 3 years?
Yeah, it would stay at this 264.6.
Okay, that was one of the questions I had. The other thing
I'll take a look at it again, but
okay.
If I reviewed it prior to the meeting, I didn't recall there being a price escalation. Okay. And I don't remember when we were negotiating this, you know, a few years ago that there was going to be a price escalation.
Okay.
Because, you know, one of the reasons we were doing this is we obviously have a very limited budget and we were trying to kind of contain costs.
So, if we were going to, okay, I'll let you take a look at it, because if we're going to go 264, then you're looking at, like you were talking about, the saving money doing the Valley District, and I know Chief Amos is going to elaborate on it. Then will we put in a contract where we can move the numbers? It would go down if we decided to go in the other direction, correct?
I mean, that remains.
You would look for it. You would want it to be.
Well, that would be.
that would be the hope.
Yeah, that would be a totally different contract if you entered into that with multiple people.
Right. That's what I just wanted to point that out. Then I also had one more question. It's maybe directed to Chief Amos. So I do know, like with Greater Cincinnati Waterworks, with them doing piping, it's up to us, to pay for the new piping. Ms. Pope, have you heard? I know because of COVID, they may have had to cease for a minute, but I know we're scheduled to have to replacement of the new hydrants according to the new technology.
Okay, I was gonna say that is the hydrants that we have to replace. And no, I haven't heard anything regarding when they're gonna start Cincinnati Waterworks with the underground piping or stormwater improvements. What is it, Chief?
I know for our current hydrants right now, I don't think we have anything out of service. For the hydrants that Cincinnati Waterworks is probably recommending to change, that's probably something on their end. But they haven't sent us anything. Go ahead.
Okay. They were saying that, go ahead.
Go ahead, Ms. Pope.
They were saying that there is they were recommending that we buy them from Cincinnati Waterworks. Is there like a barn that they have them where we can get them at a discounted price? Do you know of that, Chief?
I do not know of that part. Yeah.
Okay, to Mr. Deepak, I have a question. What do you want council to do from this point forward? To look at the contract and see if we want some different things in there, or just to think about considering doing this?
Well, I mean, I'll start off with the old motto, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'm not looking for council to necessarily, try and do anything in particular. But, we like to go into things with eyes wide open, right? And it just came up on my electronic calendar that, we were 6 months out from the renewal. And so I just wanted to make council aware of that. And if there was something the council wanted to revisit, they would have ample time to do that. But really, if council's happy, if the residents are happy, if the administration is happy, we can just, wait until September and I'll bring the legislation forth and take care of it then. But this is certainly a forum now or, at the next meeting where council, if they wanted to revisit some things, they could.
Okay, thank you. Vice Mayor Jeannie, and while she's taking a mute button off, would you please reflect in the minutes that Ms. Mitchell is here waiting on her committee meeting, and Mr. Durance Daniels is also present.
Okay, I had two things, Ms. Charles Jeters.
Okay.
But now I can only remember one. Oh, no, I can remember the second one. Do we have to wait until September, Deepak, to do that, or can we do that last meeting in July? Just so it's one less thing on our plate to have to try to catch up on, or does it have to be done in September?
No, you're absolutely right. We can do it earlier if council pleases.
Yeah, because I've been on doing this for a minute. We always wait and do emergency clause or something. Let's get it out the way since we have it in enough time. Council, look over it. If you have some things you want to discuss, ask, can you talk about it in somebody's committee meeting? Let's keep it moving. Let's put out these fires and keep it moving. My second thing was Chief Amos. I was walking the other day and I should have reported it. I feel awful. But right next to the fire hydrant that's on Leggett, I'm gonna give landmarks.
Okay.
Right next to the Pink Building, but right across from Nurturing Pies, there's a fire hydrant that's leaking. It's not gushing out water, but there's a trickle.
Across from the Pink Building?
No, it's the Pink Building is facing Jackson, but the hydrant is actually on Leggett in front of the daycare. I'm sorry, I should have said something earlier, but I'm just thinking about it.
Hydrant on Leggett.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be Leggett and Jackson, right? Is that what you're talking about?
In essence.
Yeah,
Leggett
I know
and Jackson.
landmarks. I'm sorry. Ms. Laverne get on me about not knowing the streets all the time.
Okay.
Landmark. I'm with you on landmarks, though. I will get some after the that out.
Okay, so to Mr. Deepak, in the meantime, you will be working with Woodline to get this done, so we'll be ready to sign off on it.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. We don't need to really engage Woodlawn directly. I just sent an email to myself and my law clerk that we are to prepare for the June 22nd council meeting, legislation to renew the fire contract. It's up to council's pleasure how fast they want to proceed with that, but I think Vice Mayor makes a very good suggestion, because what we could do is we could just go ahead and do 3 readings. So we could do a reading at the end of June and then 2 in July. That should allow ample time for any input that anybody wants to provide. And if there's nothing that we need to revisit, then at the last meeting in July, we could go ahead, if it's council's pleasure, and pass a resolution renewing the contract. And once that's done, I'll take it from there to provide it to Woodlawn to let them know that we're providing official notice of the renewal.
Okay. Any other questions? Ms. Donna?
Yes, I know we do need to update sections of this contract, and I know Mr. Dukes was talking about some additions or making changes to the actual building, which is in the contract. So we will have to update that section, because I know he wanted to make that part of that building break area for the staff here. So I know in that section, it was going to be some changes.
Okay, well, you have those 3 chances.
Yeah, and if I could just chime in, you know, I think Mr. Dukes will hopefully be back in a couple weeks. So I think the best thing to do would be to have Mr. Dukes work directly with Woodlawn's manager to discuss those items that you'd like to modify. And then once those 2 individuals can get on the same page, then it can be presented to council, and myself and Ms. Supinger, the law director for Woodlawn, can work on the language.
Okay.
Okay, Vice Mayor.
This is not fire. This is to the sheriff, since we're trying to think ahead. National Night Out. I'm sure we're not doing any of those type of activities here in the village. Is there something creative that you can do that maybe pass out before, when the kids go back to school, or have information when they're doing patrols for something? National Night Out is a big deal for me. I love National Night Out, and it's really like a police type of deal. And you all usually bring all your toys, but we can't have toys this year. So, you know, can you just think of something creative, or see if your guys can think of something so that we can still keep the public informed?
Yes, ma'am, we can come up with something. I haven't seen if it's been canceled yet officially.
Oh, we ain't doing it in Lincoln Heights. I know I'm gonna vote no, not until they come up with a cure.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep it real. I'm
Yes,
sure I don't want to participate in any of that.
Okay, Vice Mayor, we have time to think about this. So will you be able to bring us some information back, Captain Butler, or your representative from the Sheriff's Department, and give us some things that we might be able to do for a National Night Out?
Yes,
so
ma'am.
We have to move along, because I have code enforcement on here, and the finance meeting is waiting to happen. So I'm going to say for code enforcement, I am very concerned. I have absolutely no idea what's going on, and we need to hire a code enforcer. What is your pleasure? Raise your hand. All right, Vice Mayor.
Yeah, I don't see anything going on either. I'd like to hire somebody or something.
Okay, to Ms. Pope, can you tell us what's going on with code enforcement before other folks give their concerns?
Yes, Jason Perry is your code enforcer. He was under training with Mr. Dukes before Mr. Dukes left, before he had to go out on sick leave. So he was getting to learn the position of code enforcer, and they had went to a training so he can become better familiar with that.
There is an 8-step process that Mr. Dukes had created, and we have sent the information to the printers to get the 4 color-coded forms. So he will be able to use those. He has a template for a letter, so he can send those out. And so he is moving along with that, but he was just in the middle of training, and it's unfortunate that,
Well, we need to order, in my opinion, we need a full-time enforcer. And we also need to have something on file that shows us that he's certified. We've been through this with fire before, that the person is actually certified in this area. We keep wasting time on this. Keep wasting time.
The code enforcer isn't a position that you actually have to be certified for. That's the issue that the code enforcer has. And that's why he was allowed to use an employee here and train him for that position. So,
anyone else? Because I'm going to talk about this again in finance. Yes, Ms. Mitchell, Councilwoman Mitchell.
Thank you. So I understand that you don't have to be certified, but aren't there some certifications that can be worked for in terms of code enforcement? I think that's what we're talking about. If he's in training, then, he needs to get certification so that he can do a higher level of code enforcement.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Madam Mayor.
I know for myself, I have a lot of concerns regarding code enforcement because we've been trying to get it off the ground since I've been on council. And so when it comes to the billing of code enforcement, we're talking about how much things are. And, we really don't have to create the wheel. We're just going to look at what we've done in the past and make it better, because code enforcement, it's like it's stagnant. And I know we've had changes in employment. We tried to partner with Woodlawn and that fell apart. And then now we're doing something now with the assistance of Hamilton County to help assist with paying for someone to do that. But it seemed like as we're continuing to push it on, our residents are getting
bolder.
Yes, thank you for the word. They're getting bolder. And when you talk about the junk cars, we had put that in the law committee to talk about what we're going to do with these junk cars. Nothing has happened there. So I myself have driven through the village, and it is getting more and more junk cars. And then myself and Vice Mayor, we drove through the village last week, and there was a house that I know when I first got on council, became the mayor, this particular house was getting code enforced, and the gentleman was coming into mayor's court. Nothing happened. Now the house has hit the ground. And I did call the environmental department with the health department and gave them the contact with Miss Pope. So I think by now they may have probably reached out to her. They were sending someone else out. And so it is a safety issue when we have houses falling and they're next to dwellings that people live in them. So we need to do something with this code enforcement.
Ms. Mitchell.
Thank you. And as it relates to the junk cars and everything, I think, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Desai, I thought that maybe a year, 2 years ago, that a piece was put together on how we can begin to do that. And I think what we have to do is make sure that Mr. Perry has that, and that we have the cooperation of the Sheriff's Department to put that in place. But I thought we had a document that would kind of help guide us on how to do that.
We do, and I shared that with Mr. Dukes. It's a flow chart that we put together a couple years ago. If anybody needs that, I'm happy to provide that again, but there is a document as you recall.
Okay. My question to Ms. Polk is that, do you need to have a permit to put a big fence up?
No, you don't need a permit for a privacy fence if it's a certain footage.
Okay, so what I'm seeing now is that people are finding out they can do these fences, and they becoming big junkyards behind the fence. So they're going up, and I don't know how we're going to get people to move into this community if we don't make some type of improvement. Councilwoman Mitchell.
Thank you, Ms. Pope. So if you don't need a permit, but there are some regulations, your fence, whatever kind it is, should not come up to the front of your house. And that's where we're seeing fences being installed. They come up, it's like they have no regard for any setback. They cross boundaries. I mean, so even though there may not be a permit, and I think we need permit fee, but I think we need to look at that because fences are going up incorrectly.
Okay. Ms. Mitchell, and we do have a zoning specialist in Mr. Mercer who can certainly help Ms. Pope with that.
Okay.
But the Hamilton County building permits and Mr. Mercer, they both said that you didn't need a permit for a privacy fence, but I'll check on the other issue. If there's a condition for the setbacks, I'll make sure. So,
but we need to put something in place. We can have something that says that there has to be a permit and what the regulations are for installation. We don't have to follow everybody else.
Okay. Anything else about the neighborhood and safety? Okay, we all good. All right. Is there any miscellaneous? I think we covered just about everything today, including National Night Out. So we'll move along to announcements. Ms. Mitchell, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So my question is, so we're starting to see gym shoes on the power line. So I don't know, is that a sheriff issue, Captain Butler, or Chief Johnson? Because I have some across the street from me and I want them removed. Okay, so how do we, number one, get them down? Number two, we need to be checking to see where else they've been thrown up at.
So can someone tell the community about the history of those gym shoes being thrown over the line? What does it mean?
The history it came from, ma'am, that is where drug activity is taking place, allegedly. That has gone by the wayside a lot. We don't see that very often anymore. But to get them down, it would be Duke Energy's responsibility to take those down. We'd have to contact Duke Energy to get them off the power lines, or Cincinnati Bell, whoever's lines they are.
Who is the contact person for Duke or Cincinnati Bell?
We would have to call their line.
When you say we, you're talking about the sheriff, or you're talking about the village?
Either or. We can contact them through our communication center, or the village can directly. If somebody sees them, they can contact Duke or Cincinnati Bell. It's just finding out whose line they are, because one won't touch the other's lines.
Okay, so we both can do it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
So what do I have? Do I have to fill something out, or is this record enough that someone needs to be called?
it would be great if you called it in to Ms. Vian, so we'll have it on record, so we'll be able to track any calls or concerns that you guys have, and then I'll call Jamal and have him check that out, because he has the contact for Duke Energy.
Okay, so Ms. Mitchell, I suggest instead of you calling it in, that you go ahead and email it in. That's a paper trail. Okay.
Right.
Anything else? Okay, announcements. So we move along. We do have finance. Announcements. I will make my announcement in finance. Can we all do that? Okay, thank you. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion for adjournment.
Ms. Baber, second. It's been moved and second to adjourn the meeting. All in favor say aye. Aye. Aye.
I second. I was trying to get in for the announcement just in case I didn't stay through finance.
Okay. Well, hang around for finance so you can see what's going on here, okay?
Oh my God.
Well, that's a part of the job. Come on now.
You do need to hang around.
It doesn't matter.
Miss Baber, you do need to hang around because I do have that on my agenda.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you. Okay, so it's been moved to second and we're done, so we can go into finance. I will turn this over to Ms. Mitchell.
Does anyone need a recess?
No.
Some folks have already been on recess, Ms. Mitchell.
I'm not sure what that means, but okay.
Hello?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell, you got yourself on mute.
There she goes.
Has anyone heard from Miss Goodwin Williams?
She sent me a text and she said she's going to be a little late.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ms. Mitchell, before you start your meeting, I did make the announcement about the testing for COVID-19 coming up. I will send a text as well, as I think you got one also. I sent it to the mayor. I sent it to the mayor and to the vice mayor and to Chief Amos, so that they will have the information, and we're gonna work on getting the information out. Okay.
All right. Miss Baber, did you have? Oh, okay.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. All I wanted is for someone to please do a robocall to ask the residents to come outside their house on Saturday at 10:30 so that they can watch the parade. Stress that we are bringing the parade to them. Unless they're on a dead end street, then they have to come to the closest street to them in order to watch. But we want to keep the social distancing going on. So that's why we're asking them to come outside of their home, just outside in their yards and watch the parade as it go by. Could we do calls about as many as we doing for the tax collection, please?
Who's she asking?
I'm asking anybody that normally do robocalls.
I can do something. You want to write something up and email it to me, or?
All I need you to tell them that the date is that June the 20th, and that the parade starts at 10:30, and for them to come outside of their homes.
Sure, Phyllis. I can take care of that when I do the other robocall.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Do several calls so that they'll know, please. I mean, what's the parade if no one's watching?
I understand. I'm gonna hype it up real good.
Right. Ms. Randolph, are you ready?
Yes.
Thank you. Our Lincoln Heights Finance Committee meeting is now called to order. Roll call, Ms. Randolph.
Councilwoman Laverne Mitchell.
Present.
Vice Mayor Jeannie Stinson.
Present.
Councilwoman Linda Childs Jeter.
Present.
Councilman Durant Daniels. No response. I'll come back to him. Councilwoman Kathy Goodwin Williams. No response. Councilman Durant Daniels.
Okay, we have a quorum.
Okay, we have three. Yes, we have 3 who are present, 2 who are absent. We do have a quorum at this time.
Thank you. Father, grant us mercy today, Lord. Let us be reminded of the efforts of all groups striving for justice, equity, and equality and peace. Let us remember those, Heavenly Father, who have succumbed to COVID-19 and their families. Lord, we know we are blessed. Some communities have it better than the village of Lincoln Heights. Some communities have it worse than the village of Lincoln Heights, but we need to know that no one has it as good as the village of Lincoln Heights. We thank you, Lord, and we ask you to give us wisdom and grace tonight as we do your work and put forth great stewardship for our community. This we ask in your son's name.
Amen.
Amen.
All right, we have the minutes before you. If you have reviewed them, I'd like to get a motion to accept them, and then after that, we will review some of the things in the minutes.
So do we need to, I motion that we accept the minutes with any needed corrections from review.
I second.
Been properly moved in second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. I think one of the things in the minutes on page 4, Ms. Pope, that I wanted to ask about, we were trying to talk about the impact of COVID-19 on our funds, and there was supposed to be a survey done. Did we ever do that survey?
A survey done on?
For the businesses to see how they were being impacted.
We sent out a response. I mean, we sent out an email to them and asked them for some different information, but they didn't respond back to us.
One of the other questions that, the other things that was discussed in the minutes was the suggestion to have cameras put on our computers so that if staff had to be at their desk or there were webinars that folks needed to attend via COVID-19 or just training, Mr. Thornhill was supposed to be contacted to take a look at that so that we would know whether or not that would be eligible for our COVID-19 money. Well, has that been done?
We did. I did talk to Mr. Thornhill about ordering those, and he's going to get back with me when he gets a price. I was telling him about the Dell. Email that came my way. He can look into those and get us a price, and that should be covered under the COVID-19 because I know IT was included in that seminar that we went to, that webinar that we were listening to.
Okay. Okay. On page 6, it talks about the expenditures for COVID-19. So it's about $12,675, which will be reimbursed. The $6,000 for the laptops is included. So have we been reimbursed? I couldn't tell that in the finance report that's coming up. So have we?
Are you going off of the minutes?
I'm going off of the minutes on page 6.
Okay, because I didn't see that.
At the bottom.
Okay, so none of those expenditures have been reimbursed, and I believe we're waiting on the correct way to submit for reimbursement through is it Bill 310? That was the one that was in
Bill 310.
Yes.
Okay.
And I believe Mr. Desai said that it wasn't finalized. It wasn't passed all the way through, so we have to wait until we get that information. But I did receive some information from the state auditor's office on guidance information. So I was going to check that one out tomorrow to see if something had actually passed that maybe we missed. Because they were talking about the CARES Act and the federal assistance spreadsheet link. They were talking about different funding assistance that was out there.
And so what is the other $6,000 spent on?
The majority of it was computers, or these laptops that we have.
Right,
and
that
then
it says that, but where's the other 6,000 if we've spent 12?
Let me pull it up. I know it was supplies, mask, sanitizer, gloves, all that. We did here. I have a list of it right here.
Okay, but some of that we got donated, correct?
Some masks we that were donated, but before we got that message of the things that we can pick up, we had purchased masks and sanitizers and bleach and gloves and stuff like that.
Okay, well just let us know, because I don't think those supplies cost $6,000, did they?
No.
Okay.
Well, we had bank supplies. Those were the dividers for Mayor's Court. We had computers. We had the programs for the computers. We had the bags. We had the mouse. We had the licenses. And then we had picked up some supplies from Lowe's and Hillside. And,
okay, so Ms. Pope, are you saying then that the $6,600 was for the hardware only, the laptop itself, not the licensing, not the software, and not the mouse?
No, everything. The licenses, the software.
Okay, so all that's included in the $6,600.
Yes.
Okay.
Are we asking questions now, Ms. Mitchell?
On the minutes, I just wanted to make sure that as we go through the minutes, what we talked about, what was the follow through. Do you have something, Ms. Stinson?
I don't know if it was all the way in the minutes. I was just following through to see if we can spend some of that money on the hand sanitizers or water, whatever I had suggested in one of the meetings before throughout the village, so people can wash their hands.
Okay, I think, Ms. Stinson, what might be helpful is, you make a motion at the end of the meeting that we at least, look at the feasibility of getting that, at least getting the cost, because when we just mention it and say, let's do it, we need to have an action. So motions tend to move things along. So
I didn't motion this before.
I don't see that in the minutes unless it's in the.
It could have been any meeting. I don't know.
Okay. Well, let's do it in this meeting so we can have a follow through.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Pope. I'm sorry. We go ahead and to the May report.
Okay, so for the May financial report, our bank balance for May 31st, 2020 was $975,000, $975,113. Everybody have their May report. So on page 1, our outstanding checks, all of our May outstanding checks cleared with the exception of one. And it was sent to a different address. We have a different address. We had a different address on file that was updated, and that check was sent out. It was Mel's Glass. It was for $229. So that will be our only outstanding check on our May outstanding check report. Total revenue by fund for ending in May was $1,205,568. That's year-to-date receipt. And again, those
So what would cause the decrease from last year?
I think she froze.
Froze, yeah.
I froze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, so what caused the decrease, do you think?
The majority of it was our earnings tax selection. I mean, our section on earnings tax. We had some differences in our state and local tax. I mean, state and local income that we receive. Our local government fund, we usually receive about 10,000 or 11,000 a month, and for May we only received 8,000. $8,006. The Cincinnati Waterworks, with them being almost like a month behind in sending us our distribution. So for May, we received $16,159.
Okay.
But we still need to receive April, I believe it is, or May. Yeah.
Okay.
So from in the revenue section, we did receive our 2020 Census Rapid Response Grant monies, and that was for $10,000. The amount that we received, we requested 22, but we received 10,000.
And do we have a copy? Do we have a list of what it is that we plan to do with that?
Yeah, from the grant that we submitted. Yes, I can get you that.
Thank you.
And then from Community Development Block Grant monies, CDBG, we were reimbursed for the gazebo, which was $6,524. And we also received payment for a portion of the code enforcement's salary, $1,308.18.
And
that's a monthly amount.
Okay.
And it's for a total of 40 hours.
That's a monthly amount?
Yes.
A monthly amount for 40 hours, because he's what, part-time out of that and part-time somewhere else?
Yes.
Where's the other?
Out of the regular service department.
Service department, okay.
So our month-to-date revenue received for May was $109,418. Expenditures by fund through May 31st, year-to-date amount was $1,077,400, which shows a 6% decrease in spending when compared to 2019 of $1,148,309.
And what do you attribute that to? What are we doing so different?
That's just a decrease in spending in all areas. No overtime. We didn't have to do a lot of overtime because of the winter months. We didn't have a lot of tree damage. And then we've been reducing a lot of our expenses on unnecessary items.
Okay.
That's good.
We've been kind of conservative on the cold patch. So we haven't bought a lot of cold patch. Last year we had spent a lot of money on cold patch. Month-to-date detailed expenditures. So for the month of May, we spent $469,000, $469,621. In comparison to last year at this time, it was $586,952. So that's a decrease in spending of 20% from last year. Our monthly check register for the month of May totaled 22. That's not right. Because we paid more than $22,000.
Right, is it 220? Look at the comma, is in the wrong place maybe?
Yeah, 220,023 on the last, let's see.
Why you check that? This, Mr. Daniels, are you on? Are you in the meeting? Okay.
Okay, so
you're muted, Mayor.
I've been trying to unmute him. I'm asking him to unmute, but I'm not getting any response. I've been trying several times. I can't text him.
You on texting, Mayor?
Yes, ma'am. I'm texting him now.
Thank you. So is that it, Donna? Is that just moving the comma?
Yes. Okay. The total check reports for May was $220,234.49. Our earnings tax report, May 2020, our total collections for the month was $37,736, and it is under our, what we try to receive is about $50,000 a month, but it's still a 16% increase over 2019. So that'll show you that May is usually a low month. So May was, in 2019, it was $32,343. Of that, $425 was residential collections for May, $1,611 for business collection, and our withholding collections was $30,700.
Just text him.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. I just text him. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay. On page 2, on our fund reconciliation page, what I wanted to point out is in the bottom half of the page under the police fund, it's 214 police fund. You see it's negative $109,000. That will be corrected because I'll have to do an expense adjustment to that one because I need to start charging the general fund for the police services. For the first half, for the first part, I usually charge the police fund, and it balances out when we get our April distribution. But now I have to go back to charge the general fund, then the police department, the remainder. So I'll make a adjustment in our police department. And we have in the police department and the general fund, we have budgeted 300 or either 400,000. So that one will just be an expense adjustment.
Madam Chair, I have a question real quick while she's on there. I was going to wait. By you doing that way, I know they have been, the billing has changed. So do you see us going negative because of the increase? Because we budgeted for a different amount than what's coming in.
We will have to make an increase in our appropriations because of that. They, when we first did the contract, it was for 700 and I want to say 46 or 56,000.
66.
And was it 756? And they said that the amount that we voted on and approved, it was based on an estimate of them not knowing how much their increases would be. So their increases are actually more than what we have in our contract. I mean, what we have in the budget. You're gonna have to turn down your phone. You're gonna have to turn down your phone because you're gonna get a feedback.
I have one more question real quick about that. So as we do our budget,
it's going to be kind of hard to do the budget when we start doing our budget. If the increases are, I guess we're going to have to budget for more, because it's kind of hard to figure out how much we're going to get billed if every month is higher.
Well, I would think, I guess I don't understand how come they did not know what that amount was going to be. I mean, was this the bargaining unit or what?
Yes, on the bottom line of the contract that we signed off on, they give us an amount for the 3 years. But then they say at the bottom it's estimated on their bargaining, their benefits and stuff like that, their increases.
One moment, please. Ms. Baber, because you are in the building in such close proximity, can you mute yourself so that we don't pick up?
Yeah,
that's where the echo is coming from. Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Ms. Pope.
Yeah, so they have this one-liner, and it says this amount is based on an estimated amount. So it's not
we're definitely going to have to discuss that next time, because we cannot continue to do that, to come midstream and have to do some type of reappropriation, because we may not have it. Then what? We can't let everything else suffer. So we'll have to do something a little different in the next contract.
Yeah, because we, Mr. Dukes, we talked to the police sheriffs because of that, because we had estimated, or that we had signed the contract for 700 and something. Then when I got the bill, I said, well, wait a minute, they're basing this off of 803,000 divided by 803 or something like that.
So do we can't be in arrears in that payment, because we can't give it to them until we make that appropriation change. My thing would be they'd have to wait.
Madam Chair, I would not want to be, for me, I would not want to be on the arrears, because the last time they had us all blasted on the news about being in arrears when actually they were the ones that were billing late. So I wouldn't want to, I just don't want for the, us looking like we're not paying our bills, because they don't ask that. All they say is Lincoln Heights is in the arrears.
Well, we just have to find a way to correct it. I guess my concern is, where are we going to take it from? So what is going to suffer?
It'll be in the general fund.
And so what is it that we're going to have to go back and look at? Even though you're taking it from the general fund, we have to begin to think about what is it that we're going to cut or not spend that we normally would spend out of the general fund. So would that be supplies? What would that be? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think you don't have to answer that now, but for the next one, we need to understand where we're going to come up short.
Right.
Okay.
One more question, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Okay, so maybe we can look at what we have out there that we had plans to purchase. Maybe we need a delay on purchasing some things. Wasn't we planning to purchase a big ticket item?
That's already in the budget.
But that's,
it's already purchased.
It's already purchased?
Yes. You're talking about the Bobcat.
You already know.
Huh?
I said you already know.
Yeah, the box stairs, I mean,
so we just gonna have to expect Ms. Pope to give us some suggestions as to what might not fall through for us in the general fund, but we can do that next month. So, and if anybody has any suggestions or anything as you look it over, let Ms. Pope let us know, because we talking about what, $100,000? Is that how much we talking about?
No, you're talking about the difference between the estimate and their contract. I mean, their billing is 35. It was 35,000.
But what's the additional amount? What's the additional amount that we have to come up with?
It's just the 35,000. This 109 is me charging the general fund from the money that we already appropriated. I just have to switch out the charge, and then we get the other distribution in September, and I'll go back to charging the police fund.
Okay. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? We get 100 and something. We get 200 something from the police levy. So I have to kind of split out. I have to charge the general fund until we exhaust out the police levy, and then I have to charge the police fund. Did I just say that? Then I have to go back to the police fund in September.
Okay.
When that money comes back.
All right. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have another question.
Go ahead.
So Ms. Pope, when you say we already budgeted, even though we have budgeted for it, we haven't went and purchased yet. Still, at the end of the day, our numbers, our earnings are coming in lower. So we're still, that's not gonna, even though we budgeted according to us having a healthier budget, a healthier revenue coming in. But now we're looking at the shares charging us more, how that's going to affect our bottom line.
Well, we'll have to look around our budget and see where we can get that extra money, but we already purchased the skid steer.
And that's what I'm saying.
That was
so
done.
We're going to have to figure out where.
I think that was done before the COVID, so.
Okay. I'm just looking for money. My head is going around.
That's like what we have to do. That's what I was saying. We need to look through to see where, another $35,000.
Well, you got to look at it too. Like our expenditures have decreased from last year. We're not spending as much money either. So there is a little chunk of money right there. Okay. Because you have, 1 million opposed to 1.2. So.
Well, it would be good to kind of, really see those savings at the end of the year. Yeah. That we didn't have to do. But okay, let's move on.
Okay, on the page number 3, it's just your outstanding check report, and we already talked about that. There's only one check on there.
Ms. Mills Auto Glass. It's a good thing that we don't have a lot of outstanding checks. What do you attribute to that folks cashed their checks?
Because I did a check run closer to the beginning of the year. I was going to say year, beginning of the month.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, and on page 4, your revenue by fund for May 31st, it just lists all of your estimates versus your actuals in each fund.
Ms. So
go
ahead. Now I have a couple of questions. So go ahead.
Okay. You want to ask your questions?
Yeah, let me ask them that before you go through. So on 202, the permissive tax fund. So this says 18, but there in other places it is estimated at 17. Even with the estimated expenses, I think it said 17. So we might, as we go through, let's just be, if you turn to page 6 real quick.
Okay, so on page 4, the one that we're on, that is the amount that we think we're going to receive from the state. We usually get about 18,000 from the state. And then on page 6 is the money that we think we're going to spend, which is 17,000.
So why would we not have
why it don't balance out? Because usually it's about the monthly bill. That goes on how much the monthly bill is. The monthly bill is anywhere from 15 to 2,000. So,
okay, so we look to have a surplus of 1,000 in that area, hopefully.
Right.
Okay. All right.
And that we usually pay the general street lighting bill from that.
Okay.
Against that. Okay.
So
down in the middle of the, go ahead, I'm sorry.
On 217, and I think I've mentioned this before, so it says Community Development Corporation, but isn't that, is that the same as the CDBG? Because other places, the 217 says CDBG.
Okay,
Community Development Block Grant.
Because it's the same, I'll change it.
Well, I mean, it may be the same, but you know, we need to make sure it's consistent.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll go in there and change it.
Okay.
So it'll read out Community Development Block Grant instead of Corp.
And so at the end of the page, it says total cash distribution. And I think I've asked this before. So why are we calling it a distribution? Because it was distributed to us? Distribution seems to me what we would put out on our revenue, but.
No, it's what was distributed to us. So I can, yeah.
Okay. The other question I have is on back to 217 on page, on page 4.
Oh, you on page 4? I'm on 2.
All right. So our revenue for year to date says 12,132.
Yes.
And I guess let me just check, make sure. I guess I was trying to find where under the expenses for the same line. In April, it was the year to date was $100 more. So what did we spend for $100 between the 2 months? I couldn't find that in the report. You know what I'm saying? If you look at your April, it's about 12,200 something.
What page are you on again?
We're on 4.
This one, right?
Uh-huh. The one that says revenue by fund.
Oh, but you just have the other month in front of you.
No, well, I don't have it in front of me right now, but when I went through it.
Okay, I'm a mute.
You're going back and forth on different pages.
No, I'm not. I'm going back and forth maybe in the report, but just so happened on this, I do compare them to see how we did from month to month.
I'm sitting at my desk so I can pull that up and see what the $100 difference is. Once I look into, you said on the expense side, right? Ms. Mitchell?
Yeah, what I was saying that in the revenue for last month, it was more. So I was trying to find what was the expense for $100-something maybe for 217.
Okay.
But you can let us know. I mean, these are just some things that just want to make sure that we have our figures right. I mean, that's kind of minor, but still it needs to be checked.
Right. You're talking about for this month. You keep saying last month. Are you talking? Oh, this is June. That's why you keep saying it. Okay.
Yeah, for the April.
Okay. I'll look that up.
All right.
And so did you have any more questions on page 4?
Oh yeah, I do. So for the 328 Memorial Park, for the fiscal year estimated 22, is that what we're putting in, or is that how much ODNR gave us? So should that include
ODNR gave us
ODNR gave us 79.
Okay, and so where is that?
But no, we have to pay 79 times I put in 22 because the grant was for 7. Well, no, we have to pay 25% of the grant. It's
right.
only reimbursed 25%.
Right. So that's we put in the 22 right here, right? This is what I guess that's what I'm kind of confused about. We're saying that we are going to spend. We put in 2,200, right? And is that
22,000? So
22,000.
We're gonna need to transfer into either transfer to Memorial Park project for that Memorial Park 22,000 because we have to pay for a third.
Third or 25%?
We have to pay for a third. No, yeah, they pay 70. No, we pay 25%.
Right.
They pay 20. We are reimbursed by 75%.
Okay.
Okay, and so when do we expect to get the ODNR money?
We received a letter saying that we were granted it.
Right, but I mean,
we haven't even started working on that Memorial Field yet.
Okay, so
and if it's a reimbursable grant, once we spend it and we have to pay for it initially, and then they'll reimburse us 75%.
So we have to expend all of our 22,000 before we get what they're going to give us. Is that right? And so where will we show that, or we will not?
I'm going to show it here.
Okay.
So this number, I may need to change that number.
Right.
To the actually the 75%.
That's 79. That's what I was concerned about because it's like, where do we show?
Gonna have to be. So because if they're gonna they say it's a possibility of reimbursement up to 75%.
Right. So we would need to put.
I'll have to change the estimate.
Okay, so that'd be 79 plus the 22, or just the 79?
No, it'll be. They only gave us a grant for 79.
Right.
So you minus the money you're paying. Excuse me? You have to minus the 22 out of the 79. Yes.
Yeah, so the ODNR money should go on 328.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm confused now. They gave us a grant for 79, so that's the amount that they're going to give us. Right, so whatever our purchases are, they're not going to give us any more than 79%. So I think we need to put 79. I need to change it to 79 because that's the amount that we out of whatever it costs us. So they're only going to give us 75%. That amounts to 79.
Okay.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking because the 22 doesn't reflect the revenue that we're going to get in that grant, that line item. That's what what I'm saying?
I think our original grant application was for
90,
130,
something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
I suggest you do the research on that, make the correction, and send them to us.
Yeah.
Okay. Put a big circle there for
yeah, because I have written in grant amount and
328. Put a big circle there, letting know you're going to receive information concerning this account and a breakdown, a statement that says why it's happening this way. A note.
Madam Chair, I got a question also.
Go ahead, Ms. Mayor.
Okay, so Ms. Pope, when it comes to this particular grant, is there a deadline attached to it? And the reason why I'm asking, I was wondering, have we got any estimates on who's going to do it, anything on it? Because I wasn't sure if this grant had to be implemented by the end of the year.
No, next year.
It's for next year,
right?
2021.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a deadline attached to when this information is supposed to be sent to them, as far as
No.
estimates?
The time for completion is 12/31/2021.
Right. But it would be nice if we could actually get some type of estimate before we, as we're doing our budgeting process. Don't you admit?
Yes, and we haven't even started on any bids
Projects.
or requests for cost.
Right.
I know Mr. Dukes wanted to work with him and Jamal. He wanted to work with Jamal on this.
And I think the other thing that we have to do, Mayor, is that we have to make sure that we all are on one accord as to how those funds will be spent and what the projects are going to be on Memorial.
Right. So hopefully there's a plan for us to start talking about it at every meeting. So, because you look up, we'd be in another year.
Well, we need to put that in, start in the recreation committee.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the guide of that, Ms. Mitchell, was our grant. That's going to be our guide. Our application.
Right, but because of the amount of money that we receive, we're going to have to cut something down.
Right.
Cut something out.
Right. So, so that's why that's what I was getting at, for us to start having the conversation, especially if we're going to be, how are we going to plan for something? Our money may not allow us to do it the way that we would like to do it.
Right.
Okay.
So we have to do some prioritizing. Do some prioritizing.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Pope, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, page 5. That just details our monthly revenue for the month of May. You see in earnings tax, the first line, we received $39,005, and it's different from the that I read on the tax report. And because a lot of times when you got that 31st or 30th date, it throws it off from the time I enter what the bank received, and then D will enter what information that she's received, and sometimes the dates are just off between when the bank posted and when she deposited in the bank.
So Ms. Pope, is that what makes the difference in the amounts for the infrastructure levy? Is that what you're referring to, something like that?
No, her earnings taxes, so sometimes
you said
on the
earnings tax.
31st, on earnings tax, it's just the bank deposit date. You'll see in the a little bit down the page, 101.0004158. That's our local government sales tax. We received $8,076 for May. And we estimated 123. Now this number is the number that the county gives us. So it's not something that I have to try to figure out how much we're going to get. They have a sheet that they send us annually, and it'll tell you how much that our community is going to receive in local government fund sales tax. And so normally we would receive, it averages out to be $10,332 a month. And so you'll see this month it was only $8,076.
Oh,
and of course we know because of COVID-19, a lot of things were cut back.
Ms. Pope, you still on page 5?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if we look at 331 at the bottom. So that is all of that that's the infrastructure, correct? That's what 331 is?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure the number. Okay.
Madam Chair, I got a question. On the 4,200, the business license, I'm looking at, I guess, how much we've generated so far and what our revenue. Looks like we're down. Am I looking at that correctly?
Which one are you looking at, Mayor?
42
the
is
business
up.
license. Oh, okay, I got you now. Okay. Was that a new business?
No, what she's doing is she's collecting some 2019s from companies. So
okay,
she's going back and getting the ones that didn't pay their 2019 or they didn't realize they had to pay or
we're not gonna hear that didn't realize they had to pay.
No.
And with that being said, is there a penalty?
No, she's not instituting a penalty right now.
Do we implement a penalty on residents and not on the businesses? Something to think about.
For their taxes, yes.
Okay, I'm just saying, we give them till January 31st. I mean, the year's almost over. I mean, okay.
Yeah. I have one more about the new company. Have you received any information, Ms. Pope, on the new Tip Top Wings that just put their logo on their building, formerly Taco Bell building?
No, we Dee sent a letter out. Ms. Peterson sent a letter out to them. They're leasing the building, so she sent a letter out to them. So she sent that out last week. So I haven't heard anything. Of course, today is only Monday, so she didn't mention it.
She sent it to the people leasing it, and okay.
Okay. Can you, because I noticed I was curious to find out if they're gonna get that big old sign off that pole.
They're gonna have to.
Yeah, because it's a safety issue and it's been there for quite some time. Sounds like a letter needs to go out from the village.
Well, I think they are. There was some stuff dropped off or dumped on the property, and I was talking to Mrs. Lindsay at the time that she thought somebody was dumping it, but they were actually there. The business owner, not the owner of the property, not the leasee, was picking the stuff up. So if they're picking that stuff up, I'm sure they're going to have to do something because, I was getting concerned about the grass.
So I was for both.
Yeah, so I think
it'd be like a good neighbor stop by. Hey, how you doing?
Right, exactly.
By the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I had to say. Thank you, Ms. Pope.
You're welcome. Okay. Any more questions on that page 5? Okay, so we'll move on to page 6, our expenditures by fund. And again, you'll see on that first line how in our general, in our general fund, how the our expenditures have gone down this year so far.
So we don't plan to expend all of the money for the infrastructure. We'll always carry something over. Is that what the idea is?
I want to say you'll have to refer that back to Mr. Dukes because I think his plan is to have the service department do some of the projects, since we have the skid steering, and we can rent the attachments, have them do some of the street projects that we would normally contract out. And then also the infrastructure levy, if you recall, we placed the invoices for our road projects, but the road project, the payment for the road project was postponed until they said we didn't have to pay it into January because they were trying to help out all the communities.
Okay, well,
so yeah, it will be an unexpended balance at the end of the year.
Okay, so, but somewhere along the way, we need to at least get a list of where we, of what we expect to spend the infrastructure levy funds on. That's what I would like to see, you know, so we know that if the service is going to do some other work, what is it that they're going to do, and what is that approximate cost, and if we're going to do any of it towards any pavement or begin to do any of the basins and the drains. You know, we need to have a list of what that's going to be so that we'll be prepared in case something else comes up. Vice Mayor?
Okay. Yes, ma'am. So we're not looking into getting a road fixed. We're looking into having the service department do it.
I think the service, go ahead, Don.
This year, the funding for OPWC has been canceled because they said they don't have any funding available. So it won't be through our normal process of OPWC. They're not even accepting applications for new work. So unless we get a contractor such as a Alita or someone like that, and we don't have, as far as I know, there hasn't been a conversation with them to do certain streets.
Well, I think we need to begin to look at what streets that can be done. I mean, I know that Mr. Dukes is not here, but that's something we may need to discuss as a council to begin to put that on our radar, because if we need to have some places paved, although it's a temporary Band-Aid, we know that for the most part, at the most, it might cost $10,000.
I agree.
So we need to begin to plan that. We do not need to really wait until Mr. Dukes come back. We can't put everything on hold, and we need to begin to plan, because the companies, number one, we got to put it out for bid. Number two, they're going to be swamped doing stuff. So we need to begin to look at if that means we have to contact the engineers to see which streets that we can do with the amount of money that we may have left. I mean, I understand OPWC.
We don't need to go out to bid if it's under 50,000. Anything over 50,000.
But I mean, we need to get some estimates anyway. That's what I mean.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so last year, that's something that we did. And, you know, we went to the engineers, they gave us a report of the conditions of the street. So we actually have that data and that information. It's us making a decision if we're gonna not, I mean, the residents are expecting us to do something with with these streets or basins.
But I think
bottom line. And we need to look and we need to look at, like she said, if we can get a patch of a street, maybe looking at doing some of the other end of Leggett, going another direction toward Van Buren, from Jackson to Van Buren. I mean, I think that's something that we need to look at every year, taking a certain portion that's not monies to pay for some street grants, take some money, put it on the side. Every year we continue to do a section that's not included in the grant.
Well, that's fine. But
get some basins clean. I mean, we need to, like you said, we need to have a conversation. It's summertime. This is when they do the streets. And
that's why we need to have engineers come in, and even though we have the sheet, but what if one part of the street is worse than another. We just need some guidance on that. So perhaps you and Ms. Pope need to get that started.
Right. Right. They actually just did that toward the end of during October last year. Now, I guess they have to assess it on a yearly basis because the streets and the roads, they change, but we all know that Leggett, we only did it from Adams down to Shoemart. What about looking to see, depending on if we have the funding, if we can do that or another street that's not included in those ones that we want to do a grant. I just think it doesn't make sense for us to wait and look up and it's December again. I just think we need to do better by assessing these streets and making things happen.
I agree, but in addition to doing Leggett and some other parts of streets, we have to begin to do something with cleaning those basins out because you're going to have people. Yeah,
that's included in there. Yeah.
All right.
Basically, we need to possibly have a type of schedule. We're going to do this amount. We don't have like a plan. We're going to do this amount of basins this year. We're going to do this amount of a street repair. We're just going along to do a patchwork here and a patchwork there. And I just think some of the streets are going to call for more than just.
I just suggest that so that we spend this money the way we need to, that you and Ms. Pope get together and do that. Ms. Childs Jeter.
Well, to Donna, are they already cleaned out the catch basins? Is that something that they
cleaned out? We cleaned out, I want to say 10 or 11 catch basins. We did do.
It's an ongoing
11 of them.
It's
is there a schedule for it? Is there a schedule for it?
I can't answer that. I can't answer that.
All right, but perhaps we need to find out how much the couple of streets that are the worst. We know Leggett's got to be done something temporarily, and then find out how many catch basins we can get done with X amount of funds. But we got to just start. But we just can't keep waiting.
So our catch basins were averaging $2,000 per catch basin. Okay. And then when we got the bids, not bids, but we got the quotes last year for Jackson to Prairie. I think the least amount was $89,000. So they were $89,000 to just over $100,000.
Okay, so but we know
and then
we can't
that
do
was
all of those.
Yeah, that was simply just mill and fill. I think that's what just grazing it down and just putting the asphalt over there. So it wasn't anything filled like the rest of Leggett was done. So
okay, we understand that.
Now, if you use it there, you're gonna use up all the money. What's left over in infrastructure.
On Leggett,
infrastructure levy is only estimated at $138,000 a year.
And so
you're gonna use it.
How much are you saying it will cost to do the rest of Leggett?
The rest of Leggett from Jackson to the Prairie was the least bid amount we received, our quote amount that we received was $89,000. And then up, it was over 100,000. But since it's going to be over 50, we'll actually have to put that out. And that's where we'll have to, I just asked for some prices and some quotes, but we'll have to get the engineers involved and we'll have to send that out for bid.
So what I'm saying, Donna, is that when we did McIntyre, we know that McIntyre is the worst street for real. So what you had done was just it paved.
Just a little, yes.
Right, and that's what we're saying that probably needs to happen just to kind of surface do it for a while. That's not going to cost $89,000 just to do that surface. That's what we're talking about. We need a Band-Aid right now.
Right, so that's what, I think that was the plan for that Mr. Dukes had. And I can talk further with Jamal to get the full detail, because I know he wanted them to do that type of work with the skid steer that we're going to have. Because with the skid steer, you can rent the proper roller, you can rent the other attachments, so they can do it right. So it just won't look like they just dumped some cold patch. Well, and then they can seal it, you know, where it looks proper.
Well, in terms of expediency, I mean, if we can get part of Leggett done up there where it's really, really bad, it's nothing but between Prairie and Chicago, and we talking $10,000, and they can do that, because how much did it cost to do Douglas? About 5?
No, Douglas was 40. It was like 40 something thousand.
40,000 to do just that little piece.
Well, they did from Douglas, they did from Prairie to Matthews Drive.
Okay. So we need to find out how much that would be. And then I think I would like to see you and the mayor talk about using the service department to begin to do those basins. I mean, we have to try to attack it at different levels. That's what I'm saying. Because if we just have service do both of those projects, we're not going to get much done during the summer. So
I don't think service will be able to do the catch basins, because I don't think they have the proper equipment to pull that out, and then you may have to vacuum out the catch
well, I thought that's what Mr. Duke said he wanted them to do. But whatever
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am. We just need to look at both of those. Yes, Mayor.
I agree, but sometimes you get what you pay for. That's with anything. If we're going to get it done right, we may have to pay a little bit more. We may have to spend a little money. We can't just pay a little bit and then it come back. I mean, when you talk about someone that does it for a living, or someone, even though we're getting this equipment, we may be able to use the skid steer to do those other little potholes and stuff like that. But when you're talking about scraping, you're going to have to pay somebody, and you're going to get what you pay for. If you just mend in a minute, and next year it's a mess. So
okay, well, we're going to move ahead, and I'm just going to suggest, Mayor, that you and Donna find out from the engineers what it will cost to do a Band-Aid on Leggett. I mean, we got $130,000, so, right?
You got
not that we use all of it, but just see. I mean, we got
right. Okay. Just use some of it, because we got 4 more months.
I'll leave
5 more months of this year without a plan on doing something with it.
Okay, so we'll leave that in.
I will give you. Okay, I'll have a report for you Monday.
All right, Ms. Pope, page 7.
Oh, yeah, where I was at.
Page 7.
Okay, so page 7 just is the detail for all your expenditures of the month, by account number, by department.
Okay, so let's stop right there. And Ms. Baber, this is probably where I need you to chime in. So right now, under recreation, we're talking about the parade expenses. And so looking at supplies, do we have your budget, or you have your receipts and all of that? So because
I've already turned in my receipts and everything to Ms.
Okay, so Ms. Pope, what did that come to? I'm just curious to know what because that's going to come out of supplies.
My totals come up to $500. I don't know how if Mr. Daniels has ordered those scars or not, and how much they cost. I don't remember. I think they were like $338, but I don't remember off the top of my head. Ms. Pope, have you got receipts from Mr. Daniels for the scars?
Mr. Daniels sent me, let's see. And those for the scarves or stoles.
The kente cloths?
Kente cloths. On the 8th, he sent me an order for $399.67. Let's see if he put it in.
So we paying $400 for how many students?
He should have ordered 25. His original thing was like almost over for 25.
His original order was what?
Over $1,000 for 25. And then he said he found another company where he'd get it done for, I guess, for what Ms. Pope just said.
It says it's $14.60 per item.
Okay.
So that's
okay.
About 25 or 27.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so
did he place the order? He did place the order.
He has let's see. Can you send the actual invoice from this vendor?
I'm sure you have to pay something extra to have it expedited.
He's going with Brilliant Promotions.
Doesn't say if they're, oh, I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
So you're not sure if they've been ordered?
No, I'm not.
Yet? What about the t-shirts? Are they ordered yet, Ms. Baber?
Most definitely, and on their way. They're ordered and on their way.
Okay, so let me.
Thank you, Ms. Baber.
So we've ordered these. We've ordered them before the requisitions were done.
I sure don't have it.
No,
I need
because order. I'm just gonna, just caution us.
No, we did not order. I did not order those T-shirts till after the meeting.
No. I'm saying I understand that, Ms. Baber. Ms. Baber, what I'm saying is there should not have been anything ordered until the paperwork was turned in and it was signed off on. We just want to be careful that we don't get ourselves into a situation where we have to wind up doing moral obligation legislation to say that
Miss Mitchell, I only ordered because we did pass that legislation that I could. That's the only reason I ordered. We had already took care of all that business.
Okay, so we're now at $400. And how much was yours, Miss Baber?
Everything, decorations, T-shirts, and food, $500. I went over by like $22, and I myself is going to put that.
Okay, so that's $522. That's $900.
No,
it's 500. She only counting the 500. She said chalk up the other 22.
Yes, that's what I said.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
All right, so it's $900 because Mr. Daniels is $400. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So what I need to happen, because I have to sign off on the requisition. She has the receipts or whatever. I need to let my clerk of council, we need to get that filled out. It should have been filled out, like you said before. We really need, so I haven't signed anything on it. And I that's why I sent that email last week that we were waiting for, so I can get it signed.
When you sent me that email, that's when I immediately misposed that information over the weekend. The email came out on Friday, and by Saturday morning, she had everything except for the DJ's receipt, and then she received that this morning.
Right, so we didn't get it
this morning.
Okay, so you sent it Friday after Monday's
right
meeting?
After I sent your email, when I got home, I took pictures and I sent her everything.
All right, so again, I just can't stress it enough. Okay, auditors don't like all the moral obligations that we may have to do. You want to look at the process so that before any ordering is done, those requisitions need to be signed. The PO needs to be cut. I'm just saying.
In the past, Miss Mitchell, when I've done functions, all that stuff came after the function. It didn't come before. So this is like new.
What came after the function?
I'm gonna have to disagree with that.
Revision and everything that I'm saying in the past for me, when I have filled them out in the past, it was after the function, not before.
Right, and that's what's incorrect, Ms. Baby. That's what we're saying. All that should be taken care of prior to the function.
But that's what she's saying, Ms. All that stuff was done after the function.
That's because she got reimbursed.
I myself have filled out, it has been done after the function.
That makes sense, Ms. Baby.
But even if you're going to be reimbursed, you have to have something there to say, yes, we're going to reimburse you, not go out and spend.
That's what the voting was for on we voted on this twice. What was we voting for if we wasn't voting for us to go ahead? I'm just asking a question. I don't know. I'm asking you.
Miss Baby, we voted on the amount that was allowable to be spent. Miss Jeter.
I can say that this whole process has been wrong and that we do everything backwards. And then you're going to end up getting a ding from the state.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to stop this right now. And Ms. Baber, it was told to you in the past that you did it wrong.
No, it's never been told to me that I've done it wrong.
Yes, it has.
All right.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, that's enough. Miss Pope.
Miss Jeter.
Lisa, don't worry about getting all of that. Miss Pope.
It's part of the conversation.
Okay, Miss Baber.
No, I've always done it the same way. I've never been told that I've done it wrong. That's a lie.
Okay, so when we asked you to do it the right way, since you've been back, we want you to do it the way we are supposed to do it. Because I know we went around and around about it before.
Let's let Miss Pope speak. Go ahead, Miss Pope. Miss Baber, let's listen to Miss Pope.
Nice for the graduates.
Miss Baber.
I'm working my butt off.
Miss Baber.
You're doing a great job, Miss Baber.
Miss Baber. Miss Baber. Okay, so the way the purchase order system works, you have to have your purchase rec has to be approved before your invoice, before you buy. So when the council approved the legislation enabling you and Mr. Durant to buy, you should have had your requisition also. And so the mayor can sign off on your requisitions, and then I can give you a number and a purchase order number.
Okay.
But your invoice date, wait a minute. Your invoice date should always be after your actual requisition. And that's what we're talking about with the auditors. They want to see it's been approved first. And, because the council did give you authorization to purchase, but at the same time, you should have wrote up a requisition and said, okay, I'm gonna go out here and spend, for your supplies for the DJ. You have to have a requisition for your event.
Okay, so this is all new to me, and I thank you for. So in the future, I will do the requisition first.
Yes.
But I have to do that after council vote on me to spend the money first. So they voted for me to spend the money. Well, see, that's how I was telling you. I had already spent the money. That's how I was able to tell you how much money it was going to cost. I ain't paid for no T-shirts, but for the decorations and the food, I've already spent that money for the fund.
Right, and that's what you.
I had to get the decorations when I got them, because if not, they would have been out. I had to go to 3 different stores just to get the decorations.
So, Miss Baber, when you doing that, when you say you going, like when you guys first started talking about your what you wanted to do for the seniors, that's fine. And you got it approved, that's fine. But your requisition date has to be before your invoice, because that tells the auditor that you got approval to pay it. It's not a reimbursement thing for the auditors. They want to say, well, I have a requisition for Phyllis Baber to be reimbursed once she spends that. You don't have to give me an exact amount. If you think your program gonna cost $1,000, you just write up your requisition for $1,000. Council approves that, and then when I go to reimburse you, I reimburse you for the amount of your receipt. The auditors just want that before that date. They want that date before you spend, because then it looks like we just going out money and we don't care.
So now my record it's not going to be before the date. The only date is going to be it's the vote date. The T-shirts I ordered is after the vote date, but I'm not the food, because even the food will be after the vote date. But the decorations was prior to that. That's how I was able to say exactly how much they were costing, because I'd already paid for it.
I mean, they voted for you to do it, so you're going to get reimbursed. I'm just saying the process is you need to do this before. I mean, anytime you have something, you need to do it before. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to move ahead, Miss Randolph.
For clarification, the mayor wanted me to get the requisition. Is that still on, or since
I
Ms.
got
Pope
somebody in my house right now hooking up my internet. As soon as they've done, I will come down there, get the paper, and make sure I'll fill it out right there. I won't even leave it there.
Who's there?
If somebody gonna be there,
After this meeting, I'm leaving.
Okay, so do me a favor. Can you at least put the paper on the right there at the counter?
Do you have a printer? Do you have a printer at home, Miss Baber?
Well, yeah, I do.
I can send it to you.
I
can send it to your email. I can send it to your email. I can see you. I can send you a blank.
Print out. I won't be able to print out. I don't know how the internet gonna work.
So Miss Baber, just come tomorrow and fill it out, because there will be nobody here to get it. I'm here now, but when the meeting is over, I'm going to be leaving.
Could you just sit it outside for me? Because I'll be right down as soon as this gentleman that's looking at my internet, as soon as he leaves, I'll come right down there and get it.
Put it in her mailbox.
Yeah, we'll print it out. Ms. Pope, will you print one out or whatever and put it in her mailbox?
Sure will.
All right.
So will I be able to get in the village? I have my key. Will it be up where I can't get in, or will I be able to get in so I can get
you have your key?
Yes, I have my key.
Yeah, it'll be in your mailbox. And then all you have to do is put it in the mayor's mailbox on her door.
That's fine. Thank you.
All righty. All right. Is that all that you needed, Miss Randolph?
No, she interrupted me, so I stopped. But what I was going to do is ask for clarification. Is it that Ms. Pope is now going to receive those documents from Ms. Baber as well as Councilman Daniel, so then give it to the mayor to complete, or am I to get them from Ms. Baber and Mr. Daniels as far as the rec?
No, she just said I'll send it in the mayor's.
The minutes should reflect that Ms. Baber and Mr. Daniels will turn in the requisitions to the mayor.
Oh, right. And I'll still need Mr. Daniels, because, well, let me write that total down again. And then I'll just add it to the paperwork.
Okay, so Ms. Pope, one of the things that the question, you need the total, Ms. Baber?
Put $1,000.
For Mr. Just a total of $1,000 for everything.
Yep, I would just put $1,000.
Okay, so Ms. Pope, so then eventually, and let's do it, as soon as we can. We need to, I don't want to wait to the end of the year. Go ahead and do the transfer. We need to put some more money into supplies, because all of that will be considered supplies. Supplies has 800, but they spent 1,000.
No, this ain't no supplies. It's food and decorations.
Ms. Baber, but that's what it would be considered as supplies, because it's not a capital outlay and it's not contract services. So we in order to spend it, we have to classify it as supplies.
I thought Mr. Deepak had something different.
No, he just
no, but
he
legislation just said
everything that you were doing.
That we said that we would not to exceed X amount of dollars. That's what it was. Okay. All right. 8, Ms. Pope. Page 8.
Page
Page
8 is just a continuation of the month-to-date, year-to-date detailed expenditures.
But excuse me, Miss Kathy email said something about Mr. Jones wanted to know exactly what we was doing, Reverend Jones.
Okay, that you all need to discuss that.
We need to call each other
outside of this meeting, or we can talk about it.
Oh,
after.
okay, because that's why she asked for you to put it on the agenda.
Oh, I thought it was on the agenda for the costs and stuff. But
it was about what Mr. Jones needed to know. But Miss Kathy's not to take it back to him, so it's not going to work anyway. Is there any way I can get Mr. Jones' phone number and give him a call tomorrow? Does anybody have that number?
Kathy probably has it. I would call her to get it.
Okay, but what if I can't get in touch with her?
Just call Lincoln Heights Baptist.
Do anybody call Lincoln Heights? Miss Jeters, can I get that phone number, please?
I have his private number. I cannot give it to you unless he says.
I want the private number. I just want the church number, please.
Oh, you have to look that up. I don't have the church number.
Okay, thank you anyway.
Go to LH, Lincoln Heights Missionary Baptist Church.
I'll just go to information. We still have that.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, you can still call information.
I'll
call him and ask him.
Do what you do.
Okay, so on page 9, Ms. Pope.
That's just that's the last page of your detailed expenditures.
Okay, so my question is, so there under the appropriation for the Memorial Park, we're going to put the ODNR amount, correct?
Right. So we're going to change it under both the revenue and the expenditures.
Okay. You see what we're talking about, Vice Mayor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. The other thing under the infrastructure, what is our debt for? Is that how much the steer thing costs? Is that for?
No, that was a total debt for the street projects.
For the what?
The street infrastructure projects.
Right. I mean, what project was that?
Leggett and the Leggett and McIntyre was due this year. We still paying on, I want to say let me look at my debt. I think it's Dixie.
Mm-hmm.
No, Dixie.
Dixie.
It's another smaller project that we're still paying on. And then we were gonna, we had put some of the service department equipment, like the backhoe, I put that amount in there. And we also, the backhoe.
Okay, which is the skid steer, right?
Yeah, that I was gonna say that, but that won't even come out until next year, I think.
Okay. All right. I was just curious as to what the debt was under the infrastructure levy.
Okay.
So even if we tried to do anything on the streets, we only have in contract services $30,000. And so under the $60,000 appropriated for capital outlay, what equipment were we looking at?
Okay, I have to pull up my details because I don't remember verbatim exactly. But let me see my 2020 appropriations.
So while you're doing that,
go ahead.
Now I'm going to address the mayor that, and the committee, is that we only have $30,000 to do any kind of patching or whatever. So unless there is some room under that capital outlay, Donna, to move something in case the contractual services comes to more than 30? Is that where we'd have to move funds from?
Yes.
Okay.
We can adjust those amounts.
Okay,
But we don't need them all in capital outlay.
Okay. All right. So you can let us know what the detail was. You can just send us.
Because we actually had appropriated 90,000 in capital outlay. So that would have been 4 road projects, even though we need to, the contract services was, the 30,000 was for the engineer's part, right? So the billing from the engineer to actually tell us how the program, how the street is going to be laid out. And the invoicing from the engineer, that was the 30,000. The capital outlay was for a street. So we had appropriated 90,000 in capital outlay.
So that 60,000 that is showing now, so the capital outlay will actually be the street improvement. We would use that to do the street improvement, but then we made. So have we already expended that 30,000 in contractual services for the engineer?
No, year to date is just 4,625.
Oh, okay. All right, just that piece. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Okay. So then on page 10 is your monthly check register for May 31st.
Ms. Pope, I have a question about our benefits.
Okay.
So we no longer use strategic employee benefits? We don't have a contract with strategic employee benefits? That was Tony Yates's company, and he was providing benefits. So when did we not use them anymore, or did the name change?
I've never known to use Tony Yates. We were going through Humana, since I've been here, it's always Humana. And I actually got that, that information was carried forward from Ms. Willis. So I don't know when they stopped using strategic.
Okay, Ms. Childs Jeter. You're muted.
This meeting seemed to be between you and Donna. So is this information that you can get and bring back to us at a different time, and then maybe she'll have some clarity, and then you can explain the clarity?
Oh, that's fine. If she didn't know, I just didn't see it on here.
Yeah, and I think this is good, but there are things that you can ask her and then bring the information back to us.
I have a question about page 10, Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Are any of these reimbursable, like that Black Diamond uniforms? Is that reimbursable under the Rapid Response Grant or whatever that COVID grant is? Because I remember that looked like one of the names that was under that Diamond something.
No, these are uniforms that the service department would have purchased. I know Jamal had to purchase some boots because his boots were torn up, and I'll have to look at the detail and see I have to pull out the invoice to see what else they purchased. Because I know the boots are not $439. And I don't know if that would be a reimbursable item, because I know that when we were at that webinar, it was saying that if things were already appropriated, it would be reimbursed. So, using Black Diamond, we already have them in our budget because we know we're going to purchase supplies from them.
I just thought I'd seen that name as far as reimbursable stuff.
Donna, what is the Office Depot expense?
Depot is supplies, and so in that 176, it could have been some of the software that we ordered. So, or it could have been some sanitizer. We were ordering stuff before we actually got the information the things where we can go get PPE for free.
So who do we get our cleaning supplies from? I mean, seems like we would go there for that instead of Office Depot. Who do we
get? If you recall, when this pandemic first happened, we were trying to get supplies from wherever we could get them from because everybody was out. So one of our choices was Office Depot.
Okay.
And then we use Hillside. So we get supplies from Hillside and Small Pros. So, or Woods Hardware, I think that's what they're called now.
Okay, but our major cleaning supplier is Hillside?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought I seen that Black Diamond as reimbursable.
Oh, I seen it too.
What page was that we seen the reimbursable stuff?
We didn't. We were talking about.
Was it on the safety?
It might have been on safety because I seen it.
Yeah, I thought I seen it in safety.
We were talking about it. Ms. Mitchell brought it up.
I seen it in writing.
Was it in some minutes? No. I saw it too.
She asked about the $12,000 amount. And so that's the amount that you see.
Oh,
$12,000 amount.
It's on the minutes of finance on page 6. That's where we saw it.
The $12,000?
And then it talks about, it mentions Black Diamond, Woods Harbor, Hillside, and banksupplies.com.
That's what I'm saying. Black Diamond. What if we trying to get? We got to be tight on that. What was it that we ordered?
It's on the revised minutes on page for finance on page 6. That's where we saw it at.
So this question's been asked before then.
Well, but I think the vice mayor was asking about making whether that was going to be reimbursable. It doesn't talk about that in the minutes. It just talks about COVID-19 expenditures totaling, but Donna's not sure if some of that, because we already were in contract with Black Diamond, we had already purchased it. Is that where the confusion is?
Yeah, I'm just going by that webinar. In that webinar, it said if we had already appropriated funds for certain items, then they wouldn't be reimbursable through that Bill 310 because it was already appropriated.
I don't think Ms. Mitchell's understanding what I was asking. I knew I had seen Black Diamond as something COVID related as reimbursable. I was asking what that was. Because when I asked, you said that it was something with the uniforms. That's not reimbursable though. So was this done before the webinar? Because the webinar did say if it's already been appropriated, we can't reimburse. I remember
I created a list. Mr. Dukes was telling me to keep a list. And so those were items that were on that list.
So Black Diamond cannot be reimbursed?
Not for the shoes, it can't be.
So that's what I'm asking. Out of this $6,000 under Black Diamond, what did we get from Black Diamond that's reimbursable? If it's not shoes or their uniform. So maybe that's one that reimbursable amount might go down because that might not be eligible, right?
Right. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Right.
That's what I was asking.
Okay.
So I can calculate.
Oh, you know what? No. You're right. No, what Jamal went and got, he did go get some gloves and some masks because that guy said he had some that we could come and purchase. So yeah, that Black Diamond purchase will be reimbursed. You're right.
But not for this amount of $400, a different amount.
No.
This
not
amount.
For the boots, but if it had anything to do with PPE equipment, because that wasn't part of our budget.
Okay.
And boots cost $400?
No, that is not all for boots. I'll have to pull out that.
Did y'all know how I feel about the boots?
Yeah, give us the details on that one, Ms. Pope. We need the details. The devil's in the details, I guess.
I got some $400 boots. Oh, I do.
But you don't get them messed up, Miss Jeter. And they will last you for a while.
I buy several of them. So
all right.
You all want $29.99?
So Ms. Pope, on the agenda, I put up a 2021 tax budget schedule. But actually that's the general operating levy. You put that on there to say that we need to talk about part of the tax budget schedule in finance, which would be the general operating levy. So they're one and the same, right?
Right, and actually what I did with the general operating levy on the revenue side, I just did an average because there's just no way that I can tell with this COVID-19 how to estimate what we might receive in 2020. So I just did an average of the two actuals and the one estimated amount and just put the average in, except for under the local government. And like I said, they always give us a spreadsheet on how much money that they're going to give us every year. So that amount just stays the same. It stayed the same. I left it the same as what they gave us for so that's the only thing that is different. Water district fees, we know we're going to receive 100,000 because we capped out at that. So other than that, nothing has really changed. The budget year estimate for 2021, it went down about $30,000. And then on the expense side of the 2021 tax budget, I left everything the same. I left salaries the same because there's just, right now with this pandemic, it's just no way that we can estimate anything. Mm-hmm. Under building department, under page 2, I only put 15,000, and that was the portion of our CDBG grant that is paying for building department. So that's all I did. I didn't do anything with 2021.
So when you say building department, you mean Mr. Mercer?
Yes. Okay. Between Mr. Mercer and the code enforcer, I just left it at 15,000.
Okay. Any questions?
Now, I will tell you on page 3 of the 2021 tax budget, where you see the estimated ending unencumbered balance is negative 17,699. I'm changing that because I can't send it down anyway with the general operating levy being in a negative situation. So what caused that was under the service department. If you see those last set of numbers right above the bottom page, I had added one more service department personnel. So I just took it, I'm gonna take it out before I send it. Yeah, I'm gonna take that person off. And so then that'll give us like a positive 11,000. And then also this number for 2020, this carryover number, the estimated ending unencumbered balance, you see is 126,204. And that goes into your beginning unencumbered balance, 126,204. That number is going to change because we're going to end up with more money than that at the end of the year. Our unencumbered balance will be higher than 126. I can just tell you because of the amount that we're spending right now.
All right.
Yeah. So other than that, that was just giving you the general revenue operating levy, but the numbers are pretty much going to stay the same.
All right, any other questions or comments about the tax budget, estimated tax budget? All righty, so we've already covered the parade.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Okay. I want to say to Ms. Baber and Mr. Daniels or who all are involved in the parade. I think it's a great idea. But we do need to give these seniors voter registration forms. So if whoever's there can pick up something, some from the village, please put in whatever pack of the information that you're giving out.
Ms. G, do we need to include any census information with that?
Yeah, the census information can go home, but I'm trying to plan something where that we'll go through the village, like the parade for the graduates, and hand out information that says, please,
Black Lives Matter, please be counted.
Yeah, thank you. Well, yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, yes. Okay, so I'm gonna try to get some the sorority involved, and
make sure you call Mr. Edwards. I'm sure he has a few. Mr. Edwards, Mr. Ralph Edwards.
I haven't finished.
Oh, I'm sorry. Because he just talked about it with me today before I came, and I was just like, okay.
Okay, I was trying to write down what you said here. Sorority, fraternities, community, and church members, so that we can just ride around through the community, make noise, and hand out paper if we can. So I did a webinar with the AKs, and that's what folks are doing in other communities because the census numbers are down. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, people are at home and they just won't fill these things out. So we have to have some type of encouragement. And that's where we are with that. Also, registering people, same thing. This is a year you should register and you should fill out the census. Thank you.
All right.
So Vice Mayor, can you do that for me? Make sure that voter registration and census information is in each bag that Ms. Baber are given to Ms. Baber. And Ms. Baber, would you like to do that?
You're muted, Miss. You're muted.
I have something else planned. I wasn't attending the graduation.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll give it to Mr. Daniels and Ms. Baber and they can go from there.
All right, so Miss Miss Pope.
Oh Lord.
we talked about the PEP. So did we receive that? The last time he was here, we talked about the $500 and went up to $1,000. So what's the follow-up on that?
So we're gonna apply for that every year. We're gonna apply for it and we'll get it this year.
Okay, so but did we get something last year?
No, we didn't.
What did we apply?
No, we didn't.
Okay, we can't miss opportunities like that.
Okay.
Right, please. That's $1,000 to go towards something.
Recreation.
Well, I think what does it have to go towards, Ms. Pope? Doesn't have to go towards anything or something safety related?
It'll go back into our general
fund.
Just go back into our general fund because we just have to send them $1,000 up to $1,000 receipt.
Okay.
Or they'll pay up to
so that could have covered the parade.
Yeah.
All right. On the home update, and again, I know that Mr. Dukes is not here, but what are we doing to make sure that we move this forward? And what is there a deadline for the expenditure of those particular funds? I know you and I and the mayor at another point, she and I talked about some things that need to be done to that application and, an info session so we can get people, to understand what they need to do and let's get that money spent in the homes. So where are we with that?
Okay, so I did talk to Miss Pearson and Emily's, I can't remember her last name, but we did talk to them at Hamilton County. I believe the funding is through this year, 2020, because the grant is split, 15,000 for code enforcement and 15,000 for a home improvement. The application needs to include an additional section, which would be the final approval, if I'm remembering what we were talking about. Not you and I, but because there was a last step, like when do we actually award them the money, or so we have to finish that last process on top of making the changes that you had suggested. And as long as we make sure that these people, the residents know exactly how to fill out the application, what's needed. And then we had to get a zero income certificate, and we were trying to get that approved through Joy's office to make sure that the one that we have is the one that they will accept. You know, our residents show that they don't have any income. They have to fill out the certificate saying that they don't have any income. So it's a couple more processes that we have to do to make sure.
Okay, so, you know, we need to really get that done. And do we need to offer a motion? I really feel that we need to have that info session, just like the mayor did with Habitat. You know, you may get 25 people down, well, the first 15 come in, or once the 15,000 is gone, is gone. But we need to do that almost immediately. I mean, we only got so long, and the people have to get estimates, and then they got to get the work done. And we are already, you know what I'm saying, against the gun with the CDAP grant that we know it should have been expended soon. So here we have two things down at the county that we're not moving ahead on. And so I just want to make sure that we are pushing forward, even though Mr. Dukes is not here. We can't wait for him to come back.
We are working on that. Like I said, we're going to update the form, and we're going to make sure that we have that final step, and that is reimbursing the residents for that up to $1,000. I don't think that was on the application about, you know, their expectancy of when we're going to reimburse them.
Well, yeah, I just think it's important that we tell them. So
yeah, I wanted to clarify that. And we're going to put it in the newsletter. We're going to put the front page of the home improvement into the newsletter. So that should go out next week.
Well, can you and the mayor get together and talk about an info session that can be put there, so we don't have to, I mean, so we can plan towards that, you know?
I wanted to mention something too, Madam Chair.
Yes.
So I know when we began to talk about it last year, when they were talking about implementing it, we were looking at approaching some of the homeowners that do have some code enforcement issues. And I'm not sure if they were approached, if we sent them something, dropped them off application, but just driving through the village with Vice Mayor, I saw several homes that could possibly take advantage. I'm not sure if they're on the applicant list, but is there still room for us to get some more applications out? Ms. Pope?
We don't necessarily have a list. We have received 10 applicants, 7 to 10 applicants, and some of the applications won't be accepted. And so we'll have to give the residents the information as to why their application won't be accepted, and maybe they can submit the information that is needed to
and you like not tell them that it's not accepted, but if you have the info session, you can say, here's your application. You may look to see if it's complete. I mean, we need to get on that. I mean, right away.
I would like to see about doing it, even if it's, you know, because if we can open up Mayor's Court the way that we just did with just 6 people inside the chambers, and maybe we can do an info session, only allow 6 and get that information, because I would hate to lose this money when we could have touched somebody else's life that may have made a difference of painting an awning or getting something done outside their house, so they won't fall themselves into code enforcement issue when we do get it rolled out the way we would like to see code enforcement.
So Ms. Pope, do you have the applications in hand, those 10?
Yes.
Okay, and so none of them are complete, or they're not?
Yeah, some of them are complete and some of them aren't. So we'll have to get in touch with the...
Yeah, even if they're complete, they still need to come to the session so that we can at least tell them about the reimbursement piece. I just think it's something we just really need to get on. And everybody may not use $1,000. So, you know, we do want to get more. Right.
What is it? It's 15,000, right? And each person gets $1,000.
$1,000. So I'm saying you might get 20 people. 50. Somebody might just need 500.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we can get something on that, you know, hopefully you'll be able to kind of report on something at the meeting Monday.
I can do that.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
So next on the agenda is the MOU with LHOI. The mayor, we put it on there because they've been talking about it, and I wanted to see if there was any money or anything like that involved. And it's back to 17 when we did the Camp Hope. So, and I was asking for information. So does anybody know what language or what it is they're trying to add?
Well, they need to take away some language, first of all.
Right, I agree.
Camp Hope Cincy is not working this summer, so therefore it needs to come out. Yeah. When Carlton received this opportunity, he wasn't given all the information needed in order to deal with what you're supposed to do with the village, with Princeton, and with the health center. So last year, the village and the health center was not included in the MOUs. I think I'm right.
So do we have enough? We have a more current MOU than the one done in 2017?
No.
Oh, okay, because this one doesn't speak about Camp Hope Cincy, but nevertheless, there's stuff in here that need to come out.
I should have all the MOUs. I started to purge some stuff, so it's in the air out there. But Reverend Jones should have the last MOU that they did, or Rob Robinson.
Okay, well, the one that we have is one for 2017. And
I don't know. I can't.
Yeah, I'm just saying this is the only one that we found that Lisa was able to pull up.
You need a brand. The last one was signed off by Donna. You didn't sign off on it, so it had to be by Rebecca.
17.
17. So that was it, because it's been through several hands. Yep. So it needs to be rewritten.
Well, I agree, but he was saying, didn't he say something about adding?
He did say add.
Huh?
It did say add.
Well, that's because he's doing his own thing, and
okay. Well,
he in the group. LHOI is an arm of Lincoln Heights Missionary Baptist Church.
Right.
And Rob Robinson is he was, I assume he still is, the head of LHOI. So
who would
you contact about that?
Well, I mean, if Carlton is coming and saying, hey, this is what I want to do, I just presume that in his capacity as acting director or director, he's able to do that. I just wanted us to look at it.
You don't know we don't know what the what is.
So I would just ask Ms. Randolph to make sure everybody gets a copy of 2017. And if there's something else somewhere else that maybe we need to have Vianne look for it up there in the manager's office. But this is the one with Rebecca and Lathan.
I would
Madam
check.
Chair.
I would
Yes.
check with Reverend Jones tomorrow to see what the latest version
All
is.
right, Miss Vice Mayor.
I don't want an MOU for supporting.
I'm sorry, Vice Mayor.
Huh? I think it should be two different MOUs. You know, I don't want to sign a MOU telling them that they could do that mural. To me, that mural is separate from, because that mural, is that a LHOI thing, or is that a movement thing, or just a?
Well, is that what the MOU was supposed to be? See, I didn't know because I wasn't at the meeting.
I don't know. I say again, what is the what? What do they want?
Didn't they talk about, Mayor? Do you remember the young lady talking about they showed us the mural and everything? Right. Remember we gave our opinion, but then they talked.
They didn't bring up about the MOU till afterwards. So
but
that's
isn't that two different things?
Well, you got to have some type of agreement. It can be two different things, or it can be inclusive. You know, you have an attorney that can write it where it will reflect what they can do within the community.
But
I said to make it two separate things.
I think Donna's trying to get
two separate entities.
Okay, so let me ask this question: is the when they talked about the fence, is there anything that we're supposed to do? I mean, first of all, we need a new fence. They're not talking about doing something on that fence, are they?
They said they would get a new fence.
They're talking about doing some grant writing, I believe. I'm not sure, but Donna's trying to get your attention.
Okay, but I just wanted to ask because I wasn't at the meeting.
Well, she might be able to give you more information.
Ms. Pope.
Okay, so the mural started off being a fence project, and then Miss Daniels.
A fence project for who? For us or for them?
For us. It started off being a fence project. We were going to repaint the fence and different ideas.
With habitat.
Yeah. Different ideas was birthed from that. And then, so Ms. Daniels was contacted, and then it turned into a mural. And then in that meeting, that last meeting, they were talking about LHOI and a fundraising event for the mural. So
okay, all right, so that was just, I just wanted to know if there was anything that we needed to do in terms of finance. So if they haven't come to us, but that's fine.
Wait, you have to give them permission to use the land that the fence is on, don't you?
Yeah, but I mean, I think if anything they bring to us, number one, they have to make sure, we want to make sure that all the funding is in place and that we agree what type of fence it is. So it's a lot that would go into it. So, all right. I put it on because we wanted to, Mayor wanted to discuss it. All right.
Oh, you got a finger over there.
I'm sorry.
Ms. Pope. She's trying to get your attention, Ms. Pope.
Go ahead, Ms. Pope.
I didn't know if you were getting ready to end it, so I just wanted to bring this grant up. Do you want to talk about it now, or was you getting ready to go somewhere else?
Which grant is that?
In your agenda. It's not on the agenda.
I didn't get an agenda.
Okay, it's not on the agenda, Ms. Pope?
No, I was going to do it under other announcements.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so Mr. Duke informed us that we received the mini planning grant. We applied for $40,000, but we were awarded $20,000.
Beats a blank.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Beats a blank.
You just said it beats a blank.
So we haven't received the funding yet. But I know there's an award out for it. Let me see. They said we will be reaching out to you to coordinate the scope and kickoff meeting for this project. And that was dated. You didn't have a date on here. It was from, June 8th. So he sent that to Mr. Dukes. And Mr. Dukes wanted me to mention to you guys that we were awarded that mini grant that he applied for.
So let me ask this question. I'm glad that we got that.
Okay,
so can you
good.
send us another copy of what that mini grant is going to do, what we're supposed to do? Because at this point, we need to begin to see what you're going to have to take out. And I guess the other thing is, in Mr. Duke's email, I mean, shouldn't it come to you? Shouldn't it say, you know, or be forwarded or something? So that there's no delay in getting the information.
Mr. Dukes forwarded to me, and he did tell them to, I think he did tell them to forward it to me when they have that, but I haven't received anything, so.
Okay, well, maybe you can, but you do, I think we got a copy. I don't remember. I remember him talking about it, but I don't remember receiving a copy of what the mini grant was going to be. So could you send out another one to us?
Yes, I can do that.
And do you have the date?
I was trying.
The deadline date?
For the grant?
Completion.
He doesn't have it in here. I guess that's what he was going to send when he sends out more information on the project. The kickoff and then the more information. Well, I'm thinking though we're going to have to approve a new fund for this.
Yeah, we will. We would have to add something there. So, okay.
It's got project name, Village of Lincoln Heights Master Plan / land use element. That's what he submitted.
Okay, well, if you can send that to us. Mayor, do we have any idea when Mr. Dukes will be back? Because we have a lot of things that need to be worked on, and so we need to prioritize, or we will have to.
At this time, I do not know, but I can ask maybe Mr. Desai heard from him. Miss Chow, she has her hand up. I see a little cartoon in the corner. But no, I haven't heard anything. Miss Pope, have you heard anything?
The last time I spoke with him, I think his wife is getting ready to go into her surgeries, and he was thinking that maybe like the 1st of July or first week of July. He is going to depend on how her recovery process, the length of the recovery process.
My concern is we just need to make sure that we are taking care of business and not waiting for him to come back. Whatever it is that we need to be trying to pull together, we need to be doing, because even when he comes back, it's still going to be, you know, we're going to have some gridlock somewhere. So, but if you can send us that, or I guess you could have it for us Monday, you know, copy of the award letter and the grant itself.
You want the actual grant application?
Yeah, because, you know, we need to begin to look at what we might have to be changed that we might want to recommend, because if we didn't get 40, so there's going to be, that's a great
cut
deduction. And a lot of it being probably salary. Oh,
yeah.
All right. Anything else under other? All right, Miss Judy, you had an announcement.
Oh, I made the announcement earlier. I had my hand up because I was just playing around with this stuff. Somebody else put their hand up so I can see how it worked. No.
You talking about the little icon?
Yeah, go to participant at the bottom.
Right.
It's reactions.
It kind of depends.
Oh, clap.
Yeah, there you go. You can't see it. I can see it.
I've got the wrong hand. My hand is yellow.
But that's okay.
Mayor.
Yeah, because we all talk over each other, and I'm just saying this is a wonderful way. I've been trying to find it.
Right. So, but mine is under participants, but my other one on my other iPad says reaction.
Well, I did reaction and got those. Can anybody see that?
They got what?
You can see that? I can't see it.
I don't see anything under reaction.
I got a hand clap. Can
You
anybody
got a
see
hand
it?
clap and a thumbs up.
Oh, I just
Under
said,
reaction.
I thought you did it recently.
I can't see yours though, Jeters.
I can see Vice Mayor.
I see Jeannie's and I saw the council clerk.
Okay.
And y'all see my raised hand?
I saw it.
Only the host
How come
can
we
see the
can't
raised
see
hand.
it?
Only the host can.
Okay.
If
Because
you
I
go
can't
down,
see it.
I see your hand.
Only the host can see it.
I'm up here like, where
Okay.
my hand at?
Right.
Is that what it is? Okay.
right,
All
so that the host can recognize.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
because we just scream and holler. Can we start using that hand? Thank
That
you.
sounds wonderful.
All right.
Put your hand down, Lisa.
I'm trying.
We're going on hour 5. Are we ready?
So you can also do feedback in there.
Yeah, chat. You like send you an email.
Yeah. Okay. I've been getting this stuff at other meetings, so I want to know how we can use it. Okay.
5 hours.
Ooh,
You'll be all right. You'll be all right.
All right. So is there anything else? I know Keith, you probably think we crazy, but is there anything else?
Did Miss Baby leave? She wanted to make her announcement.
Oh, Keith, I see that.
she did make her announcement, Linda. She made it at the beginning of the meeting.
So she's supposed to make it at the end.
Oh, I need to make this announcement again too.
Okay. Remember, I gave you there's a new number to that. So
I got it. I'll change that for the
wrong phone number.
Robocall.
Yeah. Okay. Go for it, Mayor.
All right. So let me ask: is anybody participating in the march on Friday?
I haven't got any information when, where, anything.
Is this what
Mr. Daniels,
the movement
with the Heights movement and the march on the firing range, the mobile march from 2
Very nice article on Channel 9.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even walk, let alone march.
Well, no, it's mobile. It's a mobile march.
I can't even get in and go out there to mobile.
Okay. All right. So that's just my announcement, just to make sure you can check it out on his Facebook page, the announcement.
All right.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I just need to read at the safety meeting, we read information update as far as COVID testing. So the phone number was incorrect. So I'm gonna read it again with the correct number in case our residents are watching. The Healthcare Connection is partnering with TriHealth to provide a drive-up COVID-19 testing for people over the age of 18 on Sunday, June the 21st till August 16th from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. at 1401 Stephen Avenue. Walk-ups are also accepted, no charge if uninsured. And the phone number that they are to call is 513-588-3623 for more information to make an appointment. Once again, please call 513-588-3623 regarding the Healthcare Connection partnering with TriHealth to provide a drive-up COVID-19 testing for people over the age of 18. And that begins on Sunday, June the 21st till August 16th from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Every Sunday.
And Mayor.
Every Sunday. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, I would like to add to that and thank Ms. Councilwoman Laverne Mitchell for helping to make that happen.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And it is in the village of Lincoln Heights.
Thank you.
All righty. All right. Anything else?
No. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Yeah,
second.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Truly do.
All right, Vice Mayor. All
right, Keith, cut it off.
Okay, make sure on Monday you make the motion to do the hand sanitizing and all that you wanted to do.
Today is Monday.
Well, I mean, next Monday.
I know. You want me to remember that? Write it down and slip me a note or something, Laverne.
That is your baby. That's what you want to do.
I know.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
I do. I'll try to remember.
Okay, I'll remind you.